Ignore the thumbnail. Yeah, whatever. Ignore the thumbnail. That kind of, yeah, it goofed. Someone called me. Yeah. I should probably put my phone on Do Not Disturb, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Let me see if that works. Are we good now? Okay.
The podcasts, the newsletters, the mobile app, the #1 source for news. This is CNN.
You doing okay?
Yeah, this moving thing never gets any easier.
Well, Xfinity makes moving super easy. I can transfer my internet and TV service to the router.
That is easy.
Almost as easy as having those guys help you move.
We are those guys.
That's you?
The truck has 10 pounds.
In the arms.
Okay.
Transfer your service online in a few easy steps. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Transfer your service in minutes, making moving with Xfinity a breeze. Visit xfinity.com/moving today.
The
This
election.
is the second one, isn't it?
A pandemic raging.
Yeah.
Record early voting. A blue wave or polls wrong again. When will we know the results? Will they be accepted? It's all come down to this. With so much uncertainty, this is the team you need.
We might change that.
Okay, we're back.
Breaking down the results county by county.
The potential exists to get a lot of results pretty quickly from Florida.
Live election night coverage
Ah.
beginning at 6 tonight on MSNBC.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Okay.
The presidential race still up in the air right now with crucial battlegrounds still.
If we wake up in Florida is in blue, we're rioting. We're taking Florida and stealing it.
Right now, take a look at this. 205 electoral.
How are you saying we lost as it tells you that we're up 205 to 114 on the screen, you weirdo?
Now you need 270 to win. It's a very, very important race right now. Let's take a look at the key race alert right now in Pennsylvania right now. 51% of the estimated vote is in. Donald Trump has 56.5% to 42.1% for Biden. He's got a lead of more than 500,000 votes right now, but 51% of the estimated vote is in. Still plenty of votes outstanding. In Michigan, still plenty of votes outstanding as well. 48% of the estimated vote is in. Trump has 54.4%. Biden has 40.
They're all in the same position Virginia was in.
289,000 votes. In Wisconsin, 61%.
Don't get worried about Pennsylvania. It's still
105,000 votes.
the freaking thing, like with Virginia.
To 46.8%. In Arizona, 76% of the estimated vote is in. Biden has 53% to Trump's 45% in Arizona. 207,000 vote lead for Biden over Trump in Arizona. As we follow some of those crucial undecided races, we're getting closer and closer to another poll closing just minutes from now. Voting ends in Hawaii. 4 electoral votes are at stake out of the 270 needed to win this contest. Let's go back to John King over at the Magic Wall. John, right now Trump has 114 electoral votes.
Right now,
Biden
Joe
has
Biden
200.
is still
Right, so
winning
you just mentioned we're going to get Hawaii at the top of the hour,
114.
and it would be a shock if this went anyway other than that. So we'll just do that, and we're going to wait for Alaska, but we assume that will go red. So let's assume here, then you get Joe Biden to 209, right? And so we're from there. Again, we're not done here yet, and we're not done here yet. But that's what it looks like it's trending there.
Hawaii is too early to call, by the way.
Hawaii is too early to call. I'm just saying I expect that's where we'll end up, right? It would be a huge surprise. It would be a huge surprise otherwise, and if we have to go back, we go back. But so you do the hypotheticals now in the Biden campaign, and you're banking on that. You're banking on Nevada, and you like your lead in Arizona, and you think you're going to get that. So then you're looking around, and again, Minnesota is a state. We're not there yet, but you think you're going to keep that. I don't think I've ever been past 11 o'clock on a presidential election night and having not called the state of Rhode Island. That's Connecticut. We'll come back in there. It's a little small. My fingers don't quite get in there. I started my
You
career
just
in
gotta
Idaho,
F everything
and
up,
we
huh?
thought we'd get past 11 o'clock before we call it. It's just that's the year we're in. Right? But we expect that goes Democratic. So then you're looking at the map, right? Virginia's now back in the Democratic fold. You're in the Biden campaign. You can't count on this anymore. You weren't counting on it, but you know your hope has gone away. Your hope is fading. You're not sure about Georgia. There's a lot of votes out in Metro Atlanta. So let's play this one out. We'll just wait a little bit and be patient. But again, you're back in this place here, right? Where you expect, and if you're the Democrats, you think you're going to get most of Maine, but I'm going to take away this congressional district and just put it back in the toss-up. Maine, one of those states that does it. Let's take this away. Let's be cautious and see what happens. And again, I'm looking at the Biden math, right? Because the president starts at 270. Joe Biden has to starts at 306. Joe Biden has to subtract and take it away. And so you're looking at the map now. Where else do you go? It gets you back right here again. Now again, we assume we haven't called this yet. We assume that's going to go there, right? And let's just see. We're waiting on Iowa, but the expectation is that goes there. So if these all stay, right, and this is the wild card. I'm going to do this last because again, a lot of votes waiting. Right? So any Democrat in Georgia is going to get mad at me right now. It's just a hypothetical. We're having a hypothetical right here. We expect the president will end up with Alaska, Idaho. Montana's interesting right now, but again, the expectation is it's going to go there. We got some congressional districts here we're waiting on. And so then, where do you get, right? You've got 1, 2, and 3 in the congressional district. So we're going to wait those out. Just remember that you sort of have three off to the side as you go through these big 3 states right here. At 243 and 246, essentially, if you get this, you're knocking at the door, right? You get this, then you need one of these, right? If this one, let's just leave this one off the board. We think it's going to be the slowest to count, right? If we're waiting on that, bang, bang, 269, then we're into the congressional districts, right? So then do you get that one? Do you get one of those?
I don't like the fact that it's that close. It won't be that close.
If you flip it around and you're the president of the United States, you think, can you get this back? The polls look iffy, but again, 259, 56, that's where we're in. Okay, these are hypotheticals, but that's where we are. That's where it looks like we're going into the night with those 2 or 3 states out there, a couple of congressional districts in hand-to-hand combat.
We got a projection right now.
Why?
CNN projects that President Trump will win the state of Ohio. Beats Biden in Ohio, 18 electoral votes in Ohio. That's a big win for Donald Trump in the state of Ohio. Let's take a look at the electoral college map where it stands right now. With that, Biden still has 205. Trump has 132. 270 needed to win the presidency. Biden still had 205, 132. We're watching this very closely. Let's get a key race alert to see where things stand right now. All eyes on Arizona right now. 76% of the estimated vote is now in, and Biden still has an impressive 207,000 vote lead over Trump, 53.6% to 45% for Trump. That's 11 electoral votes in Arizona right there. 76%, John, of Arizona is now in.
And so, again, it's not there yet, but that would be the flip, right? We're looking at this map right now. We're starting to fill it in. Nothing has changed from 2016 as of now. So both campaigns sort of in their building blocks. This is where they figured you would be. Now, again, the Biden campaign was hoping, right? Hoping for an opportunity here, an opportunity here, an opportunity here. We just took one away. They thought they had a chance. Remember, Joe Biden went to Cleveland Monday morning. Closer, a lot closer than it was last time. But a Trump win there, we project. And so you're looking at this map.
Biden
so
at 213.
That's a Clinton state they expect to get. So again, in the Biden campaign, you came into the night dreaming of getting this. Doesn't look that way. Still some votes to count in Texas. But so if you take off the board, let's not count on that anymore. Take that off.
Yeah, we had a great internet.
We're back here, where we knew we would be. And the question is, what else can change the math, right? So which, do you need the big one? Can you do it with the 26, 16, and 10? 16 Michigan, 10 Wisconsin. This is, you're sitting there now with your sheets, or that's all.
It's not over, and we don't need Texas.
Even the campaigns, they're sitting there.
We just need to win the rest of it.
Through this because you got one in the congressional district here, you got one here. The question for Maine, we haven't done Maine yet. I mean, Biden can pick some up. The question is,
these are the swing states. Here's my thing, right? These are all the swing states we knew would be left.
Or you just get, you have to, does the congressional district go?
And you can see various predictions of how these states went and stuff.
Doesn't come down to this.
It's not over.
You're not worried about one congressional district there and one
It's
congressional
not.
district here, but we have the potential to be in that. Our challenge for Biden now is make sure you hold Nevada, clinch Arizona, and flip it, and then you get into then we get into the map as we go later through the night, and the issue is going to be keep checking in on Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin to find out how much more are we going to get tonight, How much will we get in the middle of the night? I think in all 3 states, we're likely to we'll be having a tomorrow conversation. And the question is, what else do we get? Do we get everything else?
Biden just has to hold his lead for election
We're
night.
going to the weight on
He
these.
just has to hold the
And
lead.
that's
Even if none of them
before.
get
And guess
to
what?
270
If you go to tomorrow,
tonight,
just without a doubt,
and like say it ends here,
then you're talking about.
he just needs to hold them off because then Trump can't declare victory
Some of them perfectly normal.
if he's
some of them
losing and no one's gotten to
outside of
270 yet. You
because
can't do
the
that.
President of the United States say repeatedly.
So if we wake up
because you
tomorrow
should be able to finish
and then
counting
we
the
see
election
like
tonight.
the Democrat
Not
like
the way it
mail-in
works.
ballots start getting
It's not
counted
the
and
way it works.
stuff,
It never
then
works
that's
that
when
way.
you see the
It was
yeah.
not going to work this way from the beginning this year because of the complexities of the pandemic voting. But it is one thing to watch. The president signaled he was going to do it. We're now at 12:06 a.m. on Wednesday. He has not done it. That's good. That's good.
Actually,
Let the
12:06
process
or
play out,
11:06.
but as
11:06
we get
here.
through this later, let's just see.
And in all 3 of those battleground states, the so-called blue wall, so much of the outstanding vote are the early votes,
Right.
which were skewing Democrat.
Right, they were. And again, I didn't have Rhode Island still has not been called on that map too, which would be a couple votes for Biden. Let's bring it over here and just to look again. And again, you know, this at this point to people at home who've been watching all night long, this is getting a bit redundant. But as people tune in later in the night, it's just important to keep saying this. If you look at this map and you think it's after midnight, 56 to 42 in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, at first glance you think, wow. But then think about it. Pennsylvania, no matter who wins Pennsylvania, it is not going to be a 14-point race in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's just not going to happen. So what does that tell you? That this is an incomplete picture. Every vote in here is a real vote, but it's an incomplete picture. And so you look at places where the president is doing well, 72% of the vote is in here, in Lancaster County, very important to the president. You move up here to Lebanon County, it's a smaller county, but this is where the president, you know, this is where the Trump magic is running it up in these smaller counties, building 20,000 votes here, 10,000 votes there, but 95% of it is in. So if you're looking at this map right now and you're thinking, if you're a Democrat, okay, a lot of these Trump counties, a high percentage of the vote seems to be in, but come over here to this part of the state. Bucks County, 53%, so we're making some progress there. Biden holding the lead. Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, up to 40%. We were in the 20s last time we checked, so we're getting some more votes. But again, look at 248,931, so just shy 249,000 for Joe Biden. He's leading Philadelphia County. Go back 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton gets 584,000 votes. So we just have to, that simple now.
There's so many votes that haven't been counted yet, so just calm down.
We've got 584,000 votes in Philadelphia County. Joe Biden right now is at 248,000. The president's numbers are much lower too. We just haven't counted many of the votes in Philadelphia County, and that includes when you move beyond out to Montgomery County. Again, might be 50% here. Look at the numbers there: 168,000. Joe Biden now. Hillary Clinton won this county with 256. So there's just a lot of math to be done. All right, you move down here, Chester County. Hillary Clinton had 141,000. You come up here now, we're at 73,000. That's about half.
And Georgia's not out of the picture either.
I'm sorry.
And if we
This
take
is
Georgia,
this is where we just need to be patient. And again,
Yike.
the key thing, if you're a Democrat and you're sweating this a little bit, number one, you know, most of your votes here have not yet been counted. This is your other big basket here. We're still at 17%. Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, and the suburbs around it. Joe Biden leading healthily, 98,000 votes. That's a healthy lead. You go back in time. Hillary Clinton got 367,000 votes in Allegheny County. Joe Biden hopes to do better than her 4 years ago. We'll see if that turns out to be true, but we just simply know 260, just shy of 260, just shy of 370. You come here now, we just haven't counted a lot of votes. There's just a ton of votes yet to be counted, which means we're not done. So you pull it out and you wait. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So it's just deceptive. It's all real. These are all votes, but that's just deceptive because it's not a contextual lead because we're missing so many votes. And it's the very same story when you move over to Michigan. The challenge now is for the election officials in these states to be transparent, to do the best they can, you know, count as quickly as they can and be transparent about what is missing. But you just want to come down here and look again. This hasn't budged. This simply hasn't budged. Wayne County,
Yeah.
Detroit, and the suburbs around it. This is the building block for Democrats in the state of Michigan. Nearly 20%, 18% or more, depending on turnout of the statewide vote. You see Joe Biden at 147,000. You go back in time. This was a place where Hillary Clinton underperformed. Democrats wish turnout was higher, but still, she got 519,000 plus votes 4 years ago. The leader right there, right now, Joe Biden, got 147,000 votes. So it just tells you, that's just one count. It just tells you we have a boatload of votes to count. And you come out here, let's move out to Kent, move out to the western part of the state. You're up to 60 here, right? 60% of the estimated vote. But 119,000, Donald Trump leading in Kent County. This is Grand Rapids and the suburbs around it. Democrats had hoped to make inroads here. Let's see if it stays red, but 119 at 54%. You come back 4 years ago, 148. So even in a place where they say they're up to 60, we just know it's under the 2016 vote total. We know the turnout is up just about everywhere in this election. So it tells you it's real, it's a Trump lead, but it's an incomplete picture. Let's come to 2020 as we do that. It's a Trump lead, and it's a healthy lead, it looks like, but it's just incomplete. And it's significantly incomplete. And Wolf, it's the very same thing over in Wisconsin. You look at this as a Republican, it's closer here, but it's still 5 points when you look at it. 108,000 votes, but you come down here to Milwaukee, 128,000 votes right there. You go back in time. Hillary Clinton had 208,000 votes. Turnout was down in Milwaukee 4 years ago. I heard Bill Ware say earlier, Democrats are worried about it this time, but it's not going to be this much down. You're not going to have 288,000. Look at the president. He was at 126,000 here. Then you come back, you come up to 2020 here. He's at 80,000 and 128. It's just not a complete picture. There are a lot of votes to be counted. And so you want to know. It's past midnight. You want to know. We just have a long way to go. We have to count votes.
Let's be patient and we'll count the votes. We have a projection right now. CNN projects that President Trump will win the state of Idaho. Trump beats Biden and Idaho wins 4 electoral votes in Idaho. Let's take a look at the Electoral College map where it stands right now with that win. Trump now has 136 Electoral College votes. Biden has 205. 270, that's the magic number you need to win the presidency. Let's get a key race alert right now, see where things stand.
We've been live for so long.
And Iowa. In Minnesota right now, 65% of the estimated vote is in.
Did he win Hawaii? Yes.
217,000
Biden did.
over Trump, 53.9% to 44.1%. In Iowa right now, 84% of the estimated vote is in. Trump has a 95,000 vote lead over Biden, 52.2% to 45.9%.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to keep the lead tonight so we can pull through to tomorrow and then see how it goes then.
The counting continues, and again, we mentioned Iowa. It was blue very early on. This is one of those states that Biden. This is a much longer shot. This is more of a Republican state. Some Democrats out there thought there's a Senate race out there as well, so Democrats thought make a run at it. But you look at that right now, again, 84%. We have a way to go in the count, but you just come in Manipul County. This is Des Moines, up to 95%, 57% to 41%. Just checking the vote totals to see turnout. 146,000 leading there, 119. So you see, even there, Joe Biden's numbers higher, turnout is up everywhere, but it doesn't appear to be enough as you walk it through. But we'll just come through here and come out and look. You come over the eastern part of the state, Cedar Rapids, Lynn County. Democrats need a big turnout here. 70,000 votes, 92%. I want to go back in time again to compare it. Hillary Clinton gets 58,000 votes. So Joe Biden is, in the places where the Democrats need to do well, Joe Biden is getting more votes, more because of the higher turnout than Hillary Clinton. But just look, There's an interesting thing to look at this here, the so-called pivot counties. Just watch this map. This is Trump 2016, right? Trump 2016, Trump 2020, Trump 2020, still a lot of red. You go back in time, watch all the blue. This is Obama 2012, Obama 2008. Iowa has more of the so-called pivot counties than any state in the country. There are 31 counties in this state that voted twice for Barack Obama and Joe Biden. 31 counties, 31 of the 99 Iowa counties. Look at that, changed in 2016, and it looks like if you do it here, we're not quite done with the 2020 count. It does look like Joe Biden maybe took a few of them back, but nowhere near. The bulk of them are right up in here, nowhere near. Again, we're not done with the count here, but we're up to 84% there, and a 98,000 vote lead. In Iowa, you pull it back out, there's a lot of red, but remember this red is incomplete.
Certainly is. We got a key race alert right now.
Come on, what race alert?
In Arizona, look at this, 76% of the estimated vote in Arizona is in. Biden has an impressive 207,000 vote lead over Trump, 53.6% to 45%, 11 electoral votes in Arizona. In Nevada right now, still very, very early. Only a few votes have been counted. Trump has a lead of about 2,700 votes, 78.7% to 18%. Less than 1% of the vote in Nevada is in. 6 electoral votes in Nevada. We'll watch Nevada closely. Arizona is a key battleground state, and Biden's doing well there.
That would be the first flip. It would be the first flip of a Trump 2016 state to a Biden state. You pull it out again. 207,000 votes when you're up to 76%. Not impossible to overcome, but it gets hard at this point, especially when most of your votes are here. More than 60% of the vote will come out of Maricopa.
It's been at
County.
76% for the longest time.
10-point lead for Joe Biden. 805,000 votes
Stream
in Maricopa
froze.
County.
Stream's not.
Again, higher turnout this time. Number one, demographics favor the Democrats every day.
Oh.
Arizona gets more diverse, but also the suburban revolt. When you add all those up.
Sorry.
2016, Hillary Clinton gets 702,000 votes in Maricopa County, and the president wins it 4 years later. 100,000 more votes, 103,000 more votes for Joe Biden to carry Maricopa County. So you pull out and look at the rest of the state. You move up here. You look at Flagstaff. Look at 66% there, up to 73%. You go back in time, 56%, so 10 points better.
We're just getting word, by the way, that Joe Biden is about to make a statement shortly from Wilmington, Delaware.
What?
We'll, of course, have live coverage of that. But go ahead.
All right, and so that's the challenge for these candidates tonight. We're waiting to see if the candidates will speak. Nobody
Is the battery still on it?
tonight because we don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
And so the question is, what tone do you set? Again, there was some reporting during the week that perhaps the president would come out if he saw this and say, it's past midnight, election day's over, I'm ahead. He hasn't done that, and that's good. That's good because that's not the way it works. So I assume Joe Biden's going to say we're counting votes. Let's continue. Let's respect the process, and we go forward here. And you come up, you just say, you just gotta count the votes because this is all incomplete right here. And again, you walk through it. 66%, but a lot of Democratic votes missing. 50%, a lot of Democratic votes missing.
They do it
You just
quickly.
walk through it as you go through here. 57%, almost nothing, or at least up to 40% now in Philadelphia, but a ton to count. 53%
I'm back.
here. 55% here. So more votes starting to come in.
We're gonna get a speech from
in
Joe.
Here in Pennsylvania. But if you're Joe Biden, number one, you're nervous. You're nervous. The map is not what you thought it was going to be as you come through. But number two, you also know that we're nowhere close to being done right here. And if those turn around, then you're back. in
Look
the
at
place.
Fox.
Yeah, those are
Google
three
must be
pretty
slow because it's
states right now.
223, 118.
It'll be interesting to see what Biden actually has to say in a sensitive moment like this.
Right, absolutely. The challenge is to urge people to be patient and to trust the process.
I don't know.
The challenge also
It is
to ease the
223,
Democratic
118.
leaders because a lot of
Let me
Democrats
see what it
are
says.
thinking that this would be better. A lot of Democrats just simply thought the animus toward Trump is so deep among the Democrats that they just thought. And the polls, you look at the national polls. And again, we'll see where this ends up. Joe Biden has pulled ahead in the popular vote, and we'll see where it ends up. But they looked at the national polls, they looked at some of those other polls, and they thought, okay, this will not happen to us again.
This is
So try
223,
this. So a lot of
136
Democrats
now.
have said, oh, is this going to happen to us again? So what does Joe Biden have to do? He has to say, let's wait and let's count, which is the right thing to say whether you're Joe Biden or the president.
Okay.
However, if you're looking at this map now, again, if you come back, this is where we are right now. And Nevada, a Clinton state, we'll see what happens. We're still counting. Arizona, a Trump state. Looks like Biden has a lead there. We haven't finished yet. But if you come back
We're gonna
to this
see
map,
where this leads
again,
us.
if you just think about all the places the Democrats thought, we're not done with these counts, but Democrats thought that would just be game over. That would be game changer, game ended, right? That one we've projected. That's not going to happen. We haven't finished with that one yet, or finished with this one yet. But those were states where Democrats thought if you get this one or that one, you block Trump's path. You get this one.
Okay, so what it's looking like right now.
We're not done here either.
We're not done.
There's some interesting votes still to be counted, but again, Trump's leads are starting to grow. The election, the whole Republican strategy will get you on election day. So far, we're seeing it. Again, we have to get to the finish line in these states counting the votes.
Texas
So
and
if
Florida
you're
will go to Trump.
Looking now,
Yeah.
number one, you do think
But we're not done.
you're going to change this. That's not enough to get you there. It's not enough to get you there. So the rest of them will come here. Congressional district here, perhaps. Congressional district here, perhaps. But this is the meat and potatoes of presidential politics in the last couple of years, and it's going to be tonight. It seems increasingly. It's already Wednesday morning, 12:29. This could go on throughout the day.
We have another key race alert.
Key race alert.
In Georgia right now, 80% of the estimated vote is in, and Donald Trump has a nearly 300,000 vote lead over Biden, 53% to 45.8%, 16 electoral votes in Georgia. Trump has an impressive nearly 300,000 vote lead. Let's take a closer look at Georgia right now. It looks good for Trump right now.
It does look good for Trump if you're looking at the math right now, but you also have to remember the most important thing when you get to a point like this is what's missing, right? So you see 53, 46, you see 297,000 votes, and that sure seems like a lot, especially when you see a number that says you think about 80% of the estimated vote is in. However, then you come here to metropolitan Atlanta, and you see right here, this is the largest county in the state, Fulton County. It'll be somewhere ballpark 10% of the statewide vote. Joe Biden's at 238, right? 238. Where were we 4 years ago? Hillary Clinton was at 297. So there's some votes there, and we think turnout is higher. We expect turnout to be even higher. So then you want to move over here to Cobb County.
My dog
Hillary
glitched.
Clinton had 160,000 votes 4 years ago. Where are we right now? Joe Biden's at
Yeah, I'm still alive.
70%. So more of these votes are starting to come in. They're starting to come in. As we move over here, and we come one more over, to Gwinnett County, up to 78% right here. Joe Biden, 186,000. Come back and look at it here. 20,000 more than Hillary Clinton in the end. So as the votes the votes here are starting to come in, they were still not full at all. That's 2016. You come back and look at it here, 53%. So if you're looking at it, you think, okay, that looks insurmountable, but it's starting to come back. The votes around Atlanta coming back, it's going to make it closer.
Well, Pat LeBron's got some information on Georgia. What are you learning, Pat?
Yeah, and Fulton County, we're home to Atlanta, they have stopped counting there for the night. They're going to pick back up at 8 in the morning Eastern time, and they still have 48,000 mail-in ballots to go to count. Of course, Georgia had 2 weeks to process these, but they couldn't start counting these mail-in ballots until the polls closed. So we know we're going to be waiting for a bit on the edge of our seats until we find out what's going on in Fulton. And then when you look at other places like DeKalb, only 31% reported in DeKalb there in Georgia. What do you make of that, John Keane?
I make it that they're having a slow count, and so you mentioned, so if it's Fulton County.
We're having a slow count, guys.
The question is, can Joe Biden get close enough to make those votes count? It's a slow count, and so again, we just waited for a long time, and then Virginia gave us a big dump.
Atlanta lazy. It's official, yo. Atlanta is lazy.
Trying to figure out a winner, but that is the election here. So
they literally just said, "Now we're good. Now they're gonna pick up in the morning." I told you, it's not over yet.
Big number. You say, "Wow, that's insurmountable."
Joe Biden has the lead.
Then you remember how many people live around here. So you come back in.
I was waiting for everybody else. Like, yeah, I think we're gonna have a
So we
bit.
have a long way to go. Back in 2016, Hillary Clinton got 251,000 votes just in this county. And so you're still counting votes, which means there's some to be banked. Does Joe Biden get them all? We don't know. But we do know that he's doing better in the suburbs. He tends to be doing a little bit better than Hillary Clinton in the suburbs. Let's see if we can see this and see if it plays out. Again, the vote count is incomplete, so sometimes this can get you a little bit off. But if you look at places, there it is. Where's Joe Biden outperforming Hillary Clinton by 5% or more? It's right here around Metro Atlanta. So he's doing better than Clinton did 4 years ago, and we know there's still a lot of votes to be counted here. Is it enough? You don't know until you count them. But that's why you don't give up and you hang in.
It's not over, guys.
Especially, remember the governor's race.
We could still win
Abrams versus
Georgia.
Republican Governor now Brian Kemp. There was a lot of bad blood among Democrats who thought the votes were suppressed, who did not think votes were counted fairly.
Georgia will
who did not
go
think the process played out
blue.
correctly.
They got to
So the last thing
count
any
the votes.
Democrats
Chill.
will do
90%
tonight
Republican
is you can see
counties
Georgia
are already
affect
counted. The
Republican
Democratic
demand,
counties
because
still need their
everybody
vote.
patient
Exactly.
and
You
wait.
guys realize that
There's a long
because
history in Georgia on this
Republicans
issue,
voted
on this
first,
issue, but especially
aka
right here.
today,
You don't know, right? When you have
their
issues,
counties are
you see
counted
Joe Biden
first.
is overperforming Hillary Clinton.
So if we're
In the
behind
end,
in Thursday, we're losing in Michigan right now. Michigan was a blowout in the polls. It was up and down by like 20%, something like that.
And you think, wait,
We're going to win.
now 300,000 votes
It's
in.
just we're not going to get the victory we're looking for tonight.
That's a good place to be.
We just need to make sure Trump's not ahead tonight,
We saw
which is
happened
what
in
we're
Virginia.
doing.
Trump
We're going to be fine. Calm down.
We got a key race alert right now. The 2 congressional districts, Nebraska and Maine, 1 electoral vote in each. Right now in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, Joe Biden is ahead by about 28,000 votes, 54.3% to 43.9%. 83% of the estimated vote in that congressional district is now in. In Maine right now, the 2nd congressional district, 40% of the estimated vote is in. Trump has a narrow lead, 12,596 votes, 51.1% to 45.3%, 60% of the vote still outstanding in Maine, the 2nd congressional district. You know, John, it's a crazy time. You never know if those congressional districts, 1 each, are going to be significant.
Well, that's why I'm going to do some math on that in a minute, but that does it gets fascinating when you start to figure it out. You know, one of them's here in Nebraska. It's in this part of the state. You see the blue in the eastern part of the state. That's where Democrats, again, Omaha, the suburbs, Lincoln, the suburbs. The Democrats just doing better in those areas in recent years. The president carried the 2nd district last time. You think he's, it looks like he's going to win Nebraska. He'll win the state in the popular vote, but we'll see what happens. Maine gets a little more complicated. Again, townships in Maine, so the map looks a little different than many other states. We're waiting to fill in the votes here. The 2nd congressional district is the more conservative district. Biden at 51% right now. I'll tell you Democrats, but again, 47% right now. Democrats thought Biden's lead in Maine would be more than 5 or 6 points. If it stretches out a little bit, then we'll see. We have to wait the rest of the votes to be counted. But yes, those votes can matter when you go through it, especially if you want to come over and take a look at it. So last time, remember, the President of the United States won the 2 congressional districts, if you will. This was a big deal. And the Trump campaign, he went there on purpose. He went there on purpose to try to get this back this year. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, the president has a narrow lead here right now. So for Republicans watching me do this, they're going to be offended. Just if it comes back that way,
223 to
for the math of Joe
145.
Biden, hypothetically. And if you come in here and you can get the 2nd congressional district here. So you take 2 away from the president.
We just need Joe Biden to get to 270.
Why is that a big deal?
Or if Joe Biden doesn't get to 270, he needs to be the closest to 270 by the time we go to sleep.
You get Arizona, and so then you're at 293. We have.
And if he's not,
on the map
that's when we
here.
go
So then
panic
you
mode.
go.
But
So where do you go?
we just need him ahead tonight.
Here,
And then,
here.
if he hits 270 tonight, he's president. It's over. If he doesn't hit 270 tonight, and he's the closest to 270, we have to wait till tomorrow when places like Georgia start counting again, and for the rest of the mail-in ballots to be counted over the next couple of days.
Come down to here. So you're playing with the math.
That's what we're waiting for. We're going to win. We're going to be okay. It's chill. It's very
You're
nerve-wracking.
in the nail bite phase. You'll take every single one you can get, and hopefully they hold up for you. But this is where we start, and we count from here.
2016, that's what happened then.
That's 2016, and here's where we are now. As you figure them out, Joe Biden. That looks like a lead because of California. But we got Texas and Florida to add as we get a little bit later into the night, or now into the morning. I'm going to call it the night. Election night lasts until it's over. And then Trump's going to catch up. When you put Texas and Florida in, then you're going to match it up if they hold that way, and then it gets interesting. And again, very rare that you come down to 1 here and 1 there, but it's possible, which is why you compete for them.
But that's what happens. They're counting the votes, and they're counting the votes relatively slowly in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Right, and so that's the map. This is the map here. And again, if you're watching at home and you remember 2016, if you're a Democrat, this frightens you. If you're a Republican, it overjoys you. And we just need to keep saying, and you can get mad at us, you can get mad at the coronavirus, you can get mad at local election officials, you can get mad at anybody you want, but it's simply the way the process works, especially when you have mail-in voting, in-person early voting, and the election day surge. These election officials around the country, especially in these states where turnout went up, they're overwhelmed, right? There's not a lot of them. Many of them are volunteers. And so they're going to take their time, and they're going to count the votes. And we're going to watch, and you see here 666,000 votes. Normally, you're after midnight, you're into Wednesday morning, in a big state like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you'd look at that and you'd think, wow, accept. And again, we'll go west to east again. We're still at 17.
Still 17% reporting in the biggest county in
bro.
Pennsylvania. Dude, we're going to win Pennsylvania. It's fine. We're going to win Pennsylvania.
So we need to wait. More importantly,
They all went home. They're at home right now watching.
Exactly.
Like, so y'all thought we was gonna count it?
Exactly. That y'all thought we was going to count it, huh?
So you think you're starting to count them up here? You are getting more Democratic votes here, but again,
Michigan's gap is closing. I think they're starting to count the mail-in bet.
Trump's statewide lead, a giant jump in the vote here.
We're going to win
It's Democratic, as it is right now. The question
Y'all
is,
shouldn't have school till this is over. Exactly. It shouldn't be,
It'll
isn't it?
come up to Montgomery County again. Joe Biden at 61% at 196.
Who do you actually think is going to win? Joe Biden. No, I know for a fact Joe Biden's going to win. The reason why everyone's shaking right now is because they're like, oh, it's election night, and because Americans don't like things to be drawn out. So we're like, oh, it's election night, he's not winning now. What's going to happen is, one of two things are going to happen. Either Joe Biden is just going to barely squeak past 270 tonight, or what's going to happen is Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both not at 270. Joe Biden is closest to 270, and then we have to wait until the morning where they start resuming count, and over the next couple of days where they start counting like the other districts and stuff. At that point, Joe Biden will surpass 270. But I feel like he's going to hit 270 tonight, and then they're going to be like, oh, you guys said it was a landslide, and then a bunch of the other votes that haven't been counted yet via mail-in are going to come in. Still not going to be a landslide, but it's not going to be no 271 to 268. It's not how it does. The election's not going to be done tonight, is what I'm saying. But I know Joe Biden's going to win.
It's 99%.
Because polls are not wrong like that.
And so in the
At
places
all.
where the president is running up big, a lot of the votes have been counted. And so that's why if you're a Democrat,
Exactly.
you don't
The
like
Republicans
to-
voted today.
but you do
Democrats
know
voted
you're
in
missing
3 different ways.
here.
So all the Republican counties are getting counted now. That's why it looks good for Trump.
Philadelphia.
Until you start to count the Democratic county. We're still at...
Come on, wait.
Is that in Pittsburgh, in the biggest county in Pennsylvania, we're still at 17% reporting. 17.
He was railing on the governor. he was
People
running
are tripping like the election's over. They, oh my God, they have it read on screen, so therefore it's gonna stay that way. No, we're probably still gonna win Georgia somehow because of the. Well, not probably. We could still win Georgia. Florida's gone. I'd say Texas is probably gone. We're probably gonna win Pennsylvania. We're definitely gonna win Michigan and Wisconsin. And definitely gonna win Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. I don't know what I'm saying. So, yeah.
There's 2016. Looks pretty similar, and so you're looking at why is the difference? Why is the president up by 200?
Pittsburgh Post back Trump. Well, that's not how the demographics of that area is doing it.
What the issue is?
If there's probably something in like a Chicago Tribune or something in like some Chicago newspaper that backs Trump at some point. Doesn't mean he's gonna win the Chicagoland area.
No matter who wins Michigan in 2020, it's unlikely to be by 300,000 votes.
Everyone tell you Trump 2020. That's big tough when y'all lose.
The picture we have right now is incomplete. And it's incomplete because I'm going to start over
here. Yeah, keep in mind this is the first time a lot of young adults have voted. Their fears are valid. 4 years would never be stressful. Yeah.
You just go back, it was 128,000. I mean, that seemed like a lot, but that's 30,000 votes, right? That's 30,000 vote difference here, 2016 to 2020. Then you move over to the biggest.
Joe Biden's going to give a speech shortly.
18-19% of the statewide vote will be here in Wayne County. It's up a little bit from where we were before, 55 to 42. 164,000 votes.
Imagine Joe Biden comes out and concedes.
Hillary Clinton had 519.
I would punch him so hard. I would punch him so hard.
I would grab every single baby that I have right now in front of me and shoot the TV.
I swear.
Yeah, this is the state of play in Michigan right now. Donald Trump currently in the lead here, and 54% of the estimated vote is in Michigan right now. But here's what we understand about the early vote. Of that 54% of the vote that's in, 20% of the current vote is early vote. And we think that's going to go much, much higher. We think when all the votes are counted, 55%, a majority of the vote in Michigan, we expect to be early vote. And Joe Biden is doing much better than Donald Trump.
We're going to win.
And you see, there's much more early vote to come in. So there's the potential, not guaranteed, there's the potential for Joe Biden.
So right now, academics tweeted this out. I don't know if this is accurate. It says 227 to 204. Biden's winning.
It's very clear. We saw that.
I don't see you projecting that.
Virginia, Trump was way ahead, and all of a sudden Biden wins Virginia.
Right, and so you're talking.
That's what I'm telling you guys. Chill out. You do forget, like a few hours ago when we were all stressing over Virginia, Trump was way ahead, like by 14 points in Virginia. And then next minute, Biden wins Virginia, isn't it? Calm down.
So if the votes that haven't been counted are early votes, we have to count them to be certain, but everything we know tells us Joe Biden has a very significant advantage, especially in Democratic areas where he's going to have an advantage anyway. The early vote comes in there, so we have to wait. We just simply have to wait. 30% is not enough. Wayne County is the most important. And again, we went through this in 2016. Late in the night in 2016, remember, I kept being asked, is there any possibility there are more votes for Hillary Clinton? Are there more votes for Hillary Clinton? We kept talking to people in Wayne County until we got up to the finish line in 2016.
What up, No? No, I'm making you a mod, because I can't be bothered with these people anymore.
It was not enough, but it's just implausible.
I can't be bothered. I can't keep up with chat.
519,000 votes 4 years ago. We are not anywhere close to.
You and Matt are both mods. Tell Matt to get on.
With 164,000 votes, we're just not, and so everybody has to be patient.
Turn up the TV when Biden speaks. Yeah, I got you.
If you want to be.
When I see a GoFundMe for Florida's next hurricane.
Again, move over Oakland County.
And not me.
Getting more Republican, turning Democratic.
No, when I see a GoFundMe for Florida's next hurricane.
And again,
No,
you're waiting for more votes to be
Not
counted.
me.
Joe Biden with a 53 to 45, with 284,000 votes. Hillary Clinton had 343,000 votes.
Who's
So
winning?
just do this
Biden.
At home. There's a lot more votes potential. We have to see them. We count them. There's just a lot more potential.
And that concludes the election of our president. Is what's this? Bernie Sanders will be still there.
Imagine Bernie Sanders just walks on. He's like, I'm running for president in every state. All right, bet votes for. That would be hilarious. He comes out, body slams Trump to the table.
That boy Trump gave 1,200 stimmy for 8 months, so basically $5 a day to survive on. His numbers should be in the hill, but you know racism takes precedence over logic. So here we are.
You need to count it. You need to be patient.
Let's do a key race alert right now. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is ahead. He's ahead by some 664,000 votes right now. Very impressive. 61% of the estimated vote is in. Trump has 56.9%. Biden has 41.8%. 20 electoral votes at stake in Pennsylvania. You know, it's 61% of the vote is in. So there's still plenty of opportunity for Biden to try to catch up.
Yeah, so you say 61% of the vote is in. You see a lead like that, and you would think your first instinct is that's insurmountable. Then you have to remember.
You know it's late when they keep repeating themselves.
And it's different this year.
It's like the third time you said this exact thing.
The urban areas are traditionally sometimes slower than the smaller counties.
Well, it's
so
early,
what's missing, right? So you just go
Mm-hmm.
through again. I'm going to go through some of these counties where the president does quite well. 84% is in here in Blair County. 93% is in Cambria County. You move over here, Indiana County. What do we have? 69% of the vote in there. So you pull it back out. That doesn't mean there's not more votes for the president to make up in these rural counties, but you have a much higher percentage in than when you come over to the Democratic counties. In Allegheny here, you see 18%.
How California passing Biden the 55 electoral votes.
The president only has 28,000 votes in Allegheny County. You go back in time. The president has 27. Just
Says Joe Biden's projected to win
He lost the
Minnesota.
county last time. He got
Good.
259,000 votes.
That
Just
might be what
tells you
everybody
everything
said.
you need to know. There's a ton of votes still to be counted. in
Why?
Pennsylvania. It can be frustrating, but it's where we are, and we just need to wait it out.
We have another projection right now. CNN projects that Joe
Yeah.
Biden beats Trump in Minnesota, wins 10 electoral votes in the state of Minnesota. Let's take a look at electoral votes right now. With that win in Minnesota, Biden now has 215 electoral college votes. Trump has 136, 270, of course, being the number you need to win the presidency. Let's get a key race alert right now, see where things stand in Arizona. A key battleground state, 76.
Call Arizona, it's over.
Biden has an impressive 207,000 vote lead over Trump in Arizona, 53.6% to 45%, 11 electoral votes in Arizona. In Nevada right now, it's very, very early. Less than 1% of the vote is in, but Trump has a lead of 8,700 votes, 74.6% to 22.2%. So let's take a look at where things stand right now in the Electoral College. It's impressive for Biden, 215 to 136, but there's still several states out there where Trump will do very well.
Right, and this has been, Hillary Clinton lived this. Hillary Clinton lived this, I can show you, 4 years ago. You can get close, but not get there, right? Hillary Clinton got to 232. So you see Joe Biden at 215 now, and you think, okay, we're getting close to the finish line, and we're closer than him to the finish line right now. That's a fact of where we are in the state of play. Again, things can change. Everything is subject to change, but where we are right now, it looks like that stays red. It looks like that stays red. We have that one red. That's possible to stay red. So we see right there. So right there, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, unless we get some late returns that change the trajectory of those, and they're not done yet. That's why they're light red. They're not done yet. But if they stay that way, then all of a sudden you're in that. And then we're just going through. Now we're just going through it, right? We're just going to go through. We expect this one is going to be blue. We expect this one is going to be red. Right? We expect this one, it's close, but let's just leave that one red for now and see. You just mentioned that the president's leading in the early returns in Nevada. That would be a surprise. That would be a surprise, but so I'm going to leave it alone.
2040.
Joe Biden is leading right
I'm
now.
gonna run. Thanks, Noah, for saying that. I'm gonna run.
That alone. We'll just let the process play out a little bit. The Democrats certainly expect that. This is a Trump state that looks like Biden is going to flip. That's a Clinton state. That would be a big deal. President Trump, right so far, has not taken anything away from the Clinton map. So that's Joe Biden's foundation, that 232. It hasn't happened yet. We'll just watch Nevada as it plays out. So then, again, you're in this place now where we're waiting on here. Looks like you might have to wait till tomorrow, especially the metro Atlanta area. A lot of votes still out. The president has a healthy lead right now, but there's a lot missing. And this is the story of 2020. Patience, let them count the votes. If we have to wait till Wednesday or Thursday to know who our president is, that's simply, it's frustrating, but it's the way it's going to be. And so you're looking more through this. Again, I'm just going to say, this one looks like it's going to go this way. We're not sure about that yet. That's 230, 230. Here we go. This is where we are right now. You're in a very, very competitive race now. And so, where does Georgia go? We don't have Rhode Island in on this map. I think we should be getting that one pretty soon. But I'm just going to move Rhode Island in and see if I can get my finger in. That gets you to 234, 230. And then you're in a slugfest, essentially. And if, let's assume for the sake of argument here, that Nevada comes back, we're going to watch it. I'm not trying to anger Republicans out there. If the president could pull that off, that would be a big deal. If he can switch that back. That would get Joe Biden to 240. The president would be at 230. And so then what are you waiting on? You're waiting on Maine. We expect the Democrats to get most of these. Maybe the president, I'm going to take away for toss-up purposes the 2nd congressional district. And so here's where we go. It looks like we're going to be tight wolf, and we're going to walk these through.
We have a major projection right now.
Florida.
CNN projects
Called
that
it.
President Trump will win the state of Florida. A big win for President Trump in Florida. 29 electoral votes go to Donald Trump over Biden. That's a big win. Take a look at where things stand right now in the race to 270 needed to win. Biden still has 215 electoral college votes. Trump now has 165 electoral college votes. He just won Florida. That's a big, big win for the President of the United States.
Is it possible to get Texas? It's possible, though very unlikely.
Right, and so we entered the night with the possibility of a big statement election where the Democrats flip of several Trump states. Florida was one they had, not going to happen. Texas was on their chart. Doesn't look like it. We still have votes to count. We're going to be patient. But it doesn't look like it. North Carolina, cliffhanger, closer than it was perhaps. But it doesn't look like either. So that's what. So the statement election, the big blue wave appears to be out the window. Again, we have some places where it's still going to count. The one thing that looks like it might flip is Arizona. We're not done there yet, but it looks that way. But we look at it from the perspective of the Trump map, right? So what did he just do? He just kept that. That's what he has to do. He won last
My
time.
dog is dreaming.
He won. He needs to protect as much of this as he can.
We're not
done yet.
Biden didn't need Florida yet. Calm down.
Right now, that's the only change we have on the map. If it plays out that way, we're not done there. I think we'll get there relatively soon. Arizona looks good. That would be the only change on the map so far. And so you're coming out here, and again, I'm just going to take these away.
Hold on a second. We're going to go to Jake. Jake, what's going on?
Wait a minute.
We're expecting Joe Biden to come out and make some public remarks at his drive-in amphitheater there in Wilmington, Delaware.
That's cool.
Here he is, I believe. Let's listen in.
Let's go, Joe.
Good evening. Your patience is commendable. We knew this was going to go long, but who knew we were going to go into maybe tomorrow morning, maybe even longer. But look, we feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election.
Indeed.
We knew because of the unprecedented early vote, the mail-in vote, it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted.
I'm not used to the horns of the applause.
Literally.
But we're feeling good. We're feeling good about where we are. We believe one of the Nets has suggested we've already won Arizona, but we're confident about Arizona. That's a turnaround. We also just called it for Minnesota, and we're still in the game in Georgia, although that's not one we expected. And we're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the way, it's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania.
Say that then.
I talked to the folks in Philly, Allegheny County, Scranton, and they're really encouraged by the turnout and what they see. Look, you know, we could know the results as early as tomorrow morning, but it may take a little longer. As I've said all along, it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome. And I want to thank every one of you who came out and voted this election. And by the way, Chris Coons and the Democrats, congratulations here in Delaware. Hey, John, you the gov. Yeah, the whole team, man. You've done a great job. I'm grateful to the poll workers, to our volunteers, our canvassers, everyone who participated in this democratic process. And I'm grateful to all my supporters here in Delaware and all across the nation.
I can't wait to see the Trump
Thank
supporters
you.
try to flip that. He doesn't even know his name.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Every time I walk out of my grandpa's house up in Scranton, he'd yell, "Joey, keep the faith." And my grandma, when she was alive, yelled, "No, Joey, spread it. Keep the faith, guys. We're going to win this." Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your patience is great. Let's walk over here.
All right, former Vice President Joe and former Second Lady Jill Biden thanking supporters for their patience, talking about how they think it's going to take a little while, but they still feel confident about what's going to happen in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. Patience. The former Vice President called for patience, Dana, and he said he's been saying that for a long time, and if that's true, he has been saying that it's going to take a long time to count the votes because of the pandemic and all the vote by mail.
It's absolutely true. He was going through the states, saying basically what we have been looking at as the night has gone on. We can leave Georgia out, but Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
That those states are likely to take longer because the early vote is going to take a bit longer to count there. And the fact
declare victory, Biden won. Heard it first. He didn't declare victory.
Is maybe not something that anybody.
What are your mail-in predictions for tonight, tomorrow? I think the mail-in is going to give Georgia to Biden slightly. I feel like it. We're definitely winning Pennsylvania. That's over. Wisconsin, Michigan, gone. Yeah, I think Trump is gonna hold on in Texas. And I'm not too sure about North Carolina.
Feeling similarly about where we are with the map, which is that it's pretty wide open. We don't have enough information to know which
so now that
we do know though, based on
the situation with Trump trying to declare victory early is possibly out the window now.
Upper Midwestern region, they still are waiting for those states that are going to take longer to count. And frankly,
won't be legitimate if he does.
Trump is doing exactly the same thing. We're waiting on Arizona. We're waiting on
Texas and Florida are the two biggest states. They're not the two biggest. That would be Texas and California. But nevertheless, Biden doesn't need them to win. Biden just needs to win Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota. And he's already won Minnesota. Oh, and Pennsylvania. He's going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win Michigan, and he's going to win Wisconsin. So that's big tough.
Says we are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. We'll never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. Of course, the president there saying, misspelling the word polls.
We're up big. Where are you up big?
The other thing we should point out, as we were reporting, we were expecting the president to perhaps try to declare victory on election night when he doesn't have victory at hand. And that appears to be what the president is on the verge of doing. I talked to a Trump advisor not too long ago who said now that Joe Biden has gone out and said what he has said, we should expect the president to come out and essentially say the same thing, that they feel like they're going to win this election. So we should...
Where are you up big?
Within the next
are we up big?
Or so.
Are we up big?
Essentially saying the same thing.
Where?
They believe they have won this election. But I will tell you,
are we up big?
Great distress.
You're not winning the popular vote more this? Are we up big?
I talked to a couple of advisors just a short time ago. They are very upset that one of the other networks has called Arizona for Joe Biden. They have been trying to convince the other networks to not call Arizona for Joe Biden. They're worried that if Arizona goes to Joe Biden, that their path to victory then narrows.
Wait, the Trump administration been trying to tell news stations not to call for Biden?
Yep. They don't believe they'll win Michigan, and so you get a sense of some of the desperation.
Hey, could you not say that?
CNN needs to. Boy.
The president is tweeting that he's very confident. He thinks he's going to win tonight. But certainly some anxiety inside the campaign right now, especially.
I don't know how to do the renegade. I'm not doing it.
All right, Jim. Thanks so much. The fact that the president misspelled polls is just. I'm going to say a couple things. First of all, the fact that no one's trying to steal the election. Counting votes is how this works, and the idea that the president immediately says that
Trump administration is trying to get news stations to not call Arizona for Joe Biden because they believe that would hurt, that closes their chances, and it hasn't moved from 76%, even though 76% is a lot, and they could definitely call it by now.
A Republican, Governor Ducey, and said, count all the votes. That's the argument that the Trump campaign is making when it comes to Arizona. It should be the argument they're making for every state.
They're looking for consistency.
Count all the votes. But let me just give one other insight as to why Vice President Biden was projecting optimism. And again, I have no idea how this is going to end. Certainly, either candidate could win. But the perspective of the Biden team is Remember how Virginia stayed open for so long, even though it's a reliably blue state, generally speaking, these days, and it looked like Trump was ahead. And in fact, people were sending me screenshots of it, of people projecting a Biden victory, even though Trump was ahead a lot. And I've heard from Biden campaign people who have said, Virginia is how we see what's going to happen in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and those three states, in the sense that it looked like Trump was ahead, and then the major population centers, Richmond and Fairfax County in Northern Virginia, they started sending in their votes, and then it wasn't close. And then it became clear that Joe Biden was going to win the Commonwealth of Virginia. That's what the Biden people think is going to happen in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I don't know.
And I would just add, Georgia. We don't know what's going to happen in Georgia probably until tomorrow, or I guess it is tomorrow, until later today, because we don't know the votes in the major population centers, namely Atlanta. But one thing I really want to drill down on is the president's tweet saying they are trying to steal the election.
How?
That is so patently
How?
false and frankly scary. And the reason is because people who love the president believe everything he says. They just do. I mean, I've been on the road and I've talked to Trump supporters and they parrot everything that he says. And
Explain
things that are just
how in the if
stealing the election is not counting the votes.
if I walked into the doors of my own house,
Count votes in order to know
like
what the people
that's like saying if I'm bidding against somebody to buy a house
counted until election
and
day.
we're already in negotiations with the company, then dudes come by and say they're trying to steal the house. No, I bidded more money. I'm winning the bid right now, and I didn't even say it's my house yet. But you have never been leading, thus we can't steal something if you don't own it.
We already knew that this is what was going to happen. I mean, this has been telegraphed for days. In fact, earlier tonight, just a few hours ago, they sent a fundraising email to their supporters with almost the exact same.
Are you on CNN? Yes.
Implying that this race has been decided, which it is not. This is a ploy to muck up the works and make it seem as if things are more definitive than they actually are. We won't know who wins until all the votes are counted. That's the end of the story, no matter what President Trump says. Now, he can come out and say, we feel really good, just like Joe Biden said. We feel really good about the direction this is going in. They can feel however they want. We have to wait for the votes to be counted. But I expect that President Trump will come out and claim that the sort of elusive they, whoever they is trying to do something that nobody's trying to do. We just don't have the vote.
Yeah, it's false and it's premature and it is dangerous because it could get people hurt. Well, let's look back to you.
All right, guys, thank you. We have another projection right now. CNN President Trump will win the state of Iowa.
Okay, I expected him to take Ohio and Iowa, but
6
like,
electoral votes in Iowa. Trump wins Iowa. Let's take a look at where the electoral
give me some good news.
Right now.
Good news, we're gonna win Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Thus, good news is Joe Biden's gonna win the election.
Right now. Now let's take a look at Arizona. Right now, 76% of the vote is in. Biden still maintains an impressive 207,000 vote lead over Trump, 53.1% to 45.6%. The lead just went down to 185,000 in Arizona. In Nevada, only 5% of the vote is in. Trump has a lead of 32,000 or so, 73.4% to 23.9%. 6 electoral votes in Nevada. In Georgia, 82% of the estimated vote is in. Trump still maintains an impressive nearly 300,000 vote lead over Biden in Georgia, 52.9% to 45.8%, 16 electoral votes in Georgia. Let's go back to John King, who's watching all of this oh so closely. So right now, the race to 270, 215 for Biden, 171 for Trump.
Right, and so we're waiting. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. You've heard Joe Biden say we need to wait. Georgia as well. We're going to wait. I just got a text from somebody in Michigan who says they share Joe Biden's confidence. We'll see. We'll see, right? The Democrats are going to say we're doing fine. We'll hear what the president says momentarily. Here's where we are. Here's where we know we are. 215 to 171. But let's, if you will, refight the last war. You always do the next election based on the last election, especially when you have an incumbent president who ran on this map. Why is the Trump campaign so upset about Arizona? Well, Arizona, right now, we have not called it yet, but Arizona would be the first takeaway. right? Everything else that has happened so far is filling in according to the map of 2016. So if you take this one away and Joe Biden gets that, the president's still above 295, but then think about where we were, right? Think about where we were. Let's, for the sake, just for now, let's take these off and make them toss-ups, right? Because we're waiting for votes to be counted there. That gets you down to 243, 249. The Biden campaign is pretty confident they're going to get Maine's 2nd congressional district. There's still one on the table here, but where are you right there? 244 to 248, right? So it is possible that if Joe Biden can get this and get this, that Joe Biden gets to 270 with Wisconsin and Michigan and not even win Pennsylvania. Now, the Biden campaign thinks it has every chance to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but that is why that is so important. Without that, Joe Biden needs to run the board in the blue wall states. If he has that, he can get there with 2 out of 3. And again, they had a healthy lead in Michigan coming in. We need to count these votes. We need to count these votes. But the Biden campaign thinks had a healthy lead, had a relatively healthy lead. If you come over here and look at where the count is and where the votes are missing in both Wisconsin, both Wisconsin, votes are missing here in Democratic areas. Over here in Michigan, votes are missing in Democratic areas. So the Biden campaign thinks if they can pick up that in Wisconsin, that would be the flip. That leaves them a little bit of wiggle room as we go wolf through the night into the count in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. They hold Arizona. They don't have to win all 3. They can do it with just Wisconsin and Michigan. We'll see.
We shall see. President Trump says he will speak tonight. We're standing by for that. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Looks like we're in a decent position. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make oatmeal.
Since pioneering the SUV in 1945, the Chevy Suburban has carried many things. Nothing more important than family. Introducing the most versatile and advanced Chevy Suburban and Tahoe ever.
This is Steve. He used to have gum problems. Now he uses TheraBreath Healthy Gums Oral Rinse with clinically proven ingredients, and his gum problems have vanished. TheraBreath. It's a better mouthwash at Walmart, Target, and other fine stores.
Calm. Download the free app now.
While you watch this historic night unfold, log on to CNN.com for more. The Road to 270, Election 101, results that matter to you with my election, and more. Election Night in America on CNN and CNN.com.
What are you doing?
Saving energy.
But you're not doing anything.
I'm also saving us money right now. ComEd. I had a couple energy saving ideas. They provided incentives and resources to help make them a reality.
So we're saving now.
And we'll save later on our energy bill.
Customers have saved up to 40% on their energy bills with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
What are you guys doing?
Saving energy.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
All right, let's take a look and see where it stands right now. The race to 270 electoral college votes. Biden is at 215. Trump is at 171, 270 once again needed to win the presidency. We have a key race alert right now in 2 key battleground states. Let's take a look at Michigan right now. 57% of the estimated vote is now in. Trump maintains his lead, 278,000 vote lead over Biden, 53.4% to 44.8%. Once again, 57% of the estimated vote in Michigan is in. In Pennsylvania, 64% of the estimated vote is in. Trump has a very impressive 668,000 vote lead over Biden, 56.6% to 42%, 20 electoral votes in Pennsylvania. Let's go over to David Jelly and take a closer look. So here's the question. You're looking very closely at these numbers. Can the former Vice President catch up?
Well, the answer to that is possibly so, and I'm going to show you why. This is the state of play in Michigan right now. You noted Donald Trump's lead in Michigan. 57%
How we doing?
is currently in Michigan, according to our estimate.
Biden's down 150K in Georgia now? Wasn't he down like 300,000? Apparently Biden's down 150K in Georgia now.
But we don't expect it to stay that small of a share. We believe in Michigan, the early vote is going to make up a majority of the overall vote. At 55% of the overall vote in Michigan, once every vote is counted, will be early vote. And I just said this place right now, Joe Biden is winning the early vote 65% to 35%. It's a huge Biden strength. So as the share of early vote goes up in Michigan, Joe Biden could benefit from that and possibly overtake Donald Trump in the state. It's a similar story in Pennsylvania.
Similar.
It is a similar story. Take a look at the state of play in Pennsylvania right now. 64% of the estimated vote is in Pennsylvania, and you noted Donald Trump has this lead 2.5 million to 1.9 million for Joe Biden, okay? But how much of this is early vote in Pennsylvania? Well, take a look. Of that current vote that's in right now, only 16% of it is early vote. We think the share of the early vote is going to grow quite a bit, all the way up to 45% of the overall vote in Pennsylvania. We expect, when all the votes are counted, 45% is going to be early vote. And Joe Biden right now in the early vote that is winning the early vote 80% to 20% against Donald Trump. It's a huge Biden strength, and it is going to grow as the share of the early vote grows in Pennsylvania, and that could potentially allow Joe Biden to overtake Donald Trump in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
So the answer is it's doable. We'll see what happens. We'll be patient. We're waiting. Anderson, we're waiting for the president to speak. We heard from Biden. Now we'll hear from the president fairly soon.
And let's hear from our team here, David Axelrod. Where does this thing stand for you?
Exciting, isn't it? Look, this is, as John described it, it's like a chess game. And so far, no one's taken a piece from the other player. The president has held serve. He's held some of the states that he won last time. But it was always going to be about these final states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, the so-called blue wall states. If you talk to the Biden campaign and to Democrats, they'd say, these were the states that he needed to win to get to 270. Arizona would be a bonus for them. But I just have to say, the president and his folks said that they were going to bring out this big turnout. They did bring out this big turnout. They deserve credit for knowing what they were doing. The president currently has 60 million votes. There's still more than 20% to be counted. He only got 63 million 4 years ago, so he's going to add to his total in a really significant way. And I think that's going to be surprising to a lot of people. But he has a following. It's in these rural areas. He brought them out, and he is in this game. I would still rather be Joe Biden at this point.
Do you think his path is clearer?
Here's the thing. We knew that this scenario would unfold this way. We knew that the early vote that we saw recorded in these states was going to be the votes that were casted on the day of the election, and we knew that they would favor Donald Trump. We also know that the ballots that are going to be cast after, in Pennsylvania, for example, 3/4 of the early ballots that were mailed in were from Democrats. So that's going to vastly change the picture there. It's likely to do so in Michigan and Wisconsin as well. So there are many pages to be turned on this story. And I think one of the reasons, I think John's quite right, one of the reasons the White House is so vehement about fighting what's going on in Arizona, the count in Arizona, is because that is not good for their narrative. And it's also not good for their path. If he loses Arizona, then he really has to win a couple of those states, not just Pennsylvania.
Arizona was really a cushion for Joe Biden, and so the Democrats that I've been texting with are very happy about that. But if you take a step,
By the way, we have not called Arizona.
that's right, it's right. But they're very happy that it seems to be going their way. And again, we take a step back. We look at the 4 years. David was just saying the president got 60 million. He's getting 60 million plus this time. The country is divided. The map, so far at least, is pretty much the same. And if you look at all the exit polls we've had time to study now, it looks like the pandemic is the top issue for the Biden people, and reopening the economy is the top issue for Donald Trump's people. You have 2/3 of the people in this
Hello.
country saying,
Why are there 174 of you still here?
the Biden people say the economy is going
Leave me alone.
and the Trump people say things are okay and they're going to get better. So we still have
I thought I heard something.
split in this country. That has not changed over the last 4 years, even given everything that we've gone through. And now we have a president of the United States who is saying that the other party is trying to steal the election, as if counting the votes is some kind of abnormality in American politics, which of course it isn't. We don't know the results of elections on election night all the time.
By the way, Vice President Biden has just tweeted something saying it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare the winner of this election.
All right, well,
It's the
I'm back.
voters' place.
What Trump was doing was saying
Hey, what am I gonna do?
being
Yeah,
stolen, which was even
I've got 2 hours. I've grown up in my own bills. Leave me alone.
Before you go, I just want to say a couple of things. I think
We getting 2 hours. We getting no hours of sleep. What do you mean?
Hurt tonight. I think there's a lot of hurt out there. There's a moral victory and there's a political victory. They're not the same. They're not the same thing. The political victory is still making.
You going to
I think
sleep?
for
Good
people who
night.
Saw babies being snatched away from their mothers at the border.
Look at Van
people sending
Jones
their kids
being-
into schools where the N word is now being used against them. People have seen this wave of intolerance. They want a moral victory. We wanted to see a repudiation of this direction for the country, and the fact that it's this close, I think, it hurts. It just hurts. I think people got their hopes up. Look at those polls. The political victory, I think, is still possible because you still have Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, Nebraska too. The political victory may yet come. But I think I have to be honest tonight that I think people who there were people who were hoping for a big repudiation, and that has not yet come. A lot of people hurt
Facts.
scared tonight in Democrat Party.
Senator Santorum, would you rather be on the Biden team or would you rather be on the Trump team tonight?
Looking at the map right now, I like where Donald Trump is sitting. I look at Pennsylvania.
In the White House.
What's that?
You like that he's sitting in the White
And I
House?
think he'll be sitting there for the next 4 years. But again, we're
You're
not
funny.
there yet. But I feel, looking at Pennsylvania, I feel very, very good about Pennsylvania and even Michigan. Less certain about Michigan, frankly, than I.
So when people say, well, a lot of the early votes aren't in Pennsylvania, you say what?
Yeah, I would say that unlike a lot of states, Pennsylvania's portion of the early vote isn't anywhere near what the other states are. This was the first year we've done early voting, and it's big. I mean, it's a couple million votes, but the early vote that is in, that David talked about, the 80%, it's from Philadelphia, it's from Montgomery County, it's from heavily Democratic areas, and that's why it's skewed so high at 80%. None of the smaller counties, at least from what I'm hearing, have, and by the way, Allegheny County, which is Pittsburgh, all of those early votes from Pittsburgh and Montgomery County are in. Philadelphia still has them, and they're still counting tonight. I'm told they're still counting tonight. So there will be more votes coming in, early votes from Philadelphia. But 2 of the 3 biggest counties
Which one did we lose?
early votes are coming from, that are going to be
None of them
heavily
yet.
80% Democrat, are already.
They called
And
Texas?
so you're going to have early votes from Pennsylvania and Northeastern, but they're not going to be anywhere close to what the early vote is for those other states.
So where do you think the Trump path is to victory?
It's
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania right now. And look, I've talked to some very key people in Arizona, and they're telling me that I know other networks have called. We haven't, and I think we're very wise in doing so. I know this network takes that responsibility very seriously, as they should. I'm very proud to be affiliated with that, because I think the call of Arizona, from what I'm hearing, is premature, and that for example, the early ballot drop, the mail drop that you're seeing, is a +2 Democrat. They believe that the actual, when all of the mail is counted, it's going to be actually +2.
Trump called victory on Twitter.
And that there's Republican, and that you know the.
Are you sure? We're not winning Alaska. Don't say what about Alaska.
In Arizona on election day,
No point.
it's going to be heavily Trump.
Can you check his Twitter? Can you check Trump's Twitter?
We're going to know.
Someone said he declared victory. I don't think so, but
We're here to speculate and so on. We're going to know very soon because these votes will be counted. And
you think by later today?
Well, I don't think. I don't really know, Anderson.
They tweeted something 21 minutes ago and said some or all content shared in this tweet disputed might be misleading in the election.
I don't know where we are.
What do you say?
We are up big, but they are still trying to steal the election. We will never let them.
Yeah, that.
It was necessitated by the crisis that.
Wait, can someone type out in quotes what he just said? Because I'm aware when he said the whole "we're up big," but they're trying to steal the election.
We're going to know what happened, and to suggest
He said,
that
"I will be
somehow
making a
this
statement
process
tonight, a big win."
is corrupt.
Oh, he did say a big win.
We knew it was going to happen. Abby mentioned it earlier. I've been signaling it for weeks, and so.
Wow.
I would agree with you that the president should not say that the election's going to be stolen, but. Just
and look at the
Secretary
thousands
of
of Trump supporters won't believe him. They see the numbers on the screen, but that doesn't matter.
Change the rules.
This is the epitome of the last 4 years. Like, you can bring up whatever data you want, they just go, no. You can literally look at the screen and show that they're not winning. They have never been winning. And they're still going to say win.
No, you don't have to do that. Wait a minute. You're saying they're minor issues, but
that's not being stolen, though.
But I'm not saying they're being stolen, but I didn't say, I said I agree that
those are valid ballots that have been sent in, and they contact the people to make sure.
The law says that you're supposed to match signatures, and the Secretary of State said, no, you don't. And to say one other thing, because there were two things the Secretary did. The second thing the Secretary did is say that she told the United States Supreme Court that they would segregate the ballots and not count them. She then, just yesterday, or last night, said, no, we're going to canvass them. And so we're going to open them and canvass them. So you can say, oh, it's no big deal.
But you can't have it both ways. The president is saying, I want it all done. I want it quickly. I want it done tonight. And so if she says, okay, we're going to try and count them and segregate them to speed up the process so we know the result, why doesn't the president applaud that?
Because they're segregated because they're questionable whether they can be.
But because you know better than anyone that now in Pennsylvania, the counting can go on for a couple of more days.
That's right.
This is what the public has been told.
There is a dispute about it.
But they went to court and they said we're gonna do this and we're gonna extend it because of the post office and whatever reason, and the Republican legislature said let's do it this way.
No.
So
the Republican legislature did not.
But isn't it a larger point that the right.
Why are they debating a Trump bid on CNN?
Incredibly important election should be preserved for every person.
I guess the answer is we all agree with that, but we all agree there are rules, and we should follow the rules, not make them up as we go.
Van, and then we gotta go back. On other topics, I think there are three things we can learn. First of all, there's some myths that have been destroyed tonight. Republicans, it turns out, when a whole bunch of people vote, it doesn't necessarily hurt you. So maybe you can let more people vote. Got a big turnout. You haven't been hurt by it. Democrats, it turns out, when diverse people
they already called Florida.
Our way. So it's not a census, it's an election.
But I wonder how many votes is in that last 4%.
To African Americans in some parts of the country. And lastly,
So
these
it's
polls
223 to 212.
are not to be trusted. There's something wrong with the polling industry.
Yeah, because you got Texas and
the reason that people right now I think are hurt is because we got a little bit inflated with these polls. All right, let's go back to Will.
All right, guys, thanks very much. So let's get a key race alert right now. Arizona, a key battleground state, 11 electoral votes. 79% of the estimated vote in Arizona is now in, and Joe Biden maintains his lead, 163,000 vote lead over Donald Trump, 52.6% to 46.1%. Biden is still ahead in Arizona with 79% of the vote in, John. We're watching Arizona very, very closely. That would be a switch.
That would be a switch. And so let's start from where we are on the map. And it's going to take a minute, but let's build up from here. 215 to 171. That would be a switch. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, we haven't called it yet, but let's just say that one is a switch. And let's say that Joe Biden holds the Clinton state of Nevada and that Joe Biden holds the Clinton state of Hawaii. right? And so then we're moving through and we look over here and let's say that Joe Biden wins Maine. I'm going to give him all of the congressional districts here. There's one up there that's in play. President Trump carried Maine 2, the second congressional district. Last time, Maine and Nebraska do by congressional district. So there's one up there. It could be in some dispute, but let's stop there for a second.
My brother said I don't be smoking on, I'm sorry.
We haven't called Texas yet. Let's move that one over. Let's assume Alaska goes this way as well. Let's assume Montana.
John, hold on, Harris. A projection right now in the state very close to your...
It's not fire, my brother is terrible at cooking. Shut up!
CNN projects that...
Rhode Island goes to Biden. Turn on the stove. You turn on that little vent thing.
Biden with 4 electoral votes. Took a while, but Rhode Island...
Turn on that little vent thing.
On the road to 270, needed to win. Biden now has 219. Trump has 171. With that win in Rhode Island, and maybe went to college someplace in Rhode Island.
Indeed, started my career for the Associated Press in Providence, Rhode Island. It's a great state, the state of Rhode Island. I just made it there. You just finally, this is the latest.
Can you go over everyone that got called? There.
So you move Rhode Island.
All the ones that are colored in got
Through
called.
these states right now. Again, we haven't called Texas yet, but I'm going to give it there. We're still waiting on Alaska and Montana, but the light reds need.
Or basically called.
It looks like that's the way they're going, right? So let's add North Carolina. Ways to go here and everything.
No.
And so then where are you? You know, Georgia. President's ahead, right? So I'm going to do this for now. And right now, Democrats in Georgia are saying, don't you dare. I get it. A lot of votes to count in Atlanta, the Colorado County drive. For the sake of our...
Talking about the alarm scared you. Oh my God.
So where are we now? Where are we now? That 11, the Arizona flip is important because Joe Biden had hoped to run the board here. 1, 2, 3. On how to make him president. Well, we've got some issues, right? These races are closer than we
You're garbage.
This one away.
Don't make no sense.
Pennsylvania we're waiting on. Joe Biden can win if he gets this Maine second.
Open a window or something.
He'll get in Nebraska as well. If he gets one of the congressional districts, picks up Arizona, he can win the presidency with Wisconsin and Michigan. Or if he wins Pennsylvania, then you could take away.
We're going to get Arizona. They should have been already called Arizona.
And you lose one of these. You could do it that way too.
I can tell why Democrats are going to feel trash for this victory because it's literally just it's
with Arizona.
with the type of stuff that Trump has done over the last 4 years. There shouldn't be no skin of the teeth victory on election night. But America's so garbage that Trump can literally do everything that he's been doing, and there's still a significant portion of the population who don't care.
In each right now, the second congressional district in Nebraska, with 94% of the estimated vote in. Biden has 52.7%. Trump has 45.3%. Biden is leading by some 23,000 votes in that congressional district. In Maine right now, 46% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead. Look at this. Trump is ahead by some 18,000 votes, 52% to 44.5%. 46% of the vote in that congressional district in Maine is in. Those are each, John, one electoral vote.
And so let's change the map based on the vote right now. Doesn't mean that's the way it's going to end up, but let's change the map based on the vote right now. He just said the president is leading in Maine too, so let's flip that one over to him. And you said that Joe Biden is leading here. But sorry about that. You got to do this one at a time. I'm sorry. Let me fix it. So you come back here and you say here, and we still have one to call here. He's leading in that one, so you come back there. And so where does that get you? That gets you now. I'm going to take these back, right? I'm going to take these back for now because we're not done here. Again, this shows you the importance of Arizona if it stays there. This has Florida. We already projected Texas. I'm giving the president these. So let's just say again, come back to the argument. I go, Democrats are going to get mad about this because we're going to count in the morning. If you give the president Georgia, so then you're looking at 244 to 247. Again, it comes down to here. If the president can get this, that gets him in play. He needs one more, right? Even if he gets that one, it wouldn't be enough. You need to pick up something else up here, right? And so can you do that again? We get the president there. If you're Joe Biden, you hope you do this and this, but you're not sure. That's why we're going to count.
We have another projection right now. CNN projects that he will win the state of Texas. He beats Biden in Texas. He wins 38. That's a big number. 38 electoral votes. Here's where the electoral map stands right now. Biden has 219. Trump has 209. You need 270 to be president of the United States. 219 to 209, John. Texas, a big win for President Trump.
Texas is a big one. I'm not sure what I'm missing on this map, but I'll figure it out as we get there. As we go through it later. No, I know about Rhode Island. I'm going to be in the Trump for Trump. I'm missing some votes for Trump there.
That's so annoying. That's just so annoying.
219 to 209. So the question then is how do you get there from here? So let's do it another way. We're building this way, right? Another way to look at it is to go back to 2016. and start here. And so, Texas, that was one of the opportunities. Democrats thought they had the chance to make this a statement election. The Democrats thought they had a chance to take this away and to take this away. The two biggest prizes right here, right? California's the biggest of them all. These are the two big Republican prizes in electoral politics. Democrats thought they had a chance. They are now staying with Trump. Democrats thought they had a chance. Another giant electoral prize, staying red for Trump. And so you're looking at the map. We're not sure yet about North Carolina, but again, Democrats thought they could flip it. Right now, the president has a lead. We're not at the finish line there, but it's trending that way. We'll watch and we'll count the final vote. So then you're looking at it this way. Right now, we have no flips at the moment. We do have Joe Biden leading here, and we think that's a possibility. That gets the president down to 295. Gets Joe Biden up to 243. The president's leading there right now, so we'll lead Maine 2 with the president. We'll see if it ends up that way. Let's come in to Nebraska. The president won them all last time. Joe Biden is leading here at the moment in Nebraska's second.
I'm not feeling okay right now. Florida Trump got Florida, Trump got Texas, Trump got Ohio, Trump got Iowa.
And again, right now, president's leading in these places. But
and Trump so far has North Carolina.
While Democratic votes are still to be counted, we don't know how they're going to end up. So essentially, this is your state of play. 248 to 244. Democrats thought this might be a statement election. That's not going to happen. Doesn't mean Joe Biden can't win the presidency, but a sweeping Democratic win, not going to happen. We'll watch to see how this impacts Senate races, House races, down ballot races. Joe Biden is not getting what he had hoped for. The party's not getting what he had hoped for. You can come over here and look. Joe Biden ahead right now in the popular vote by 1.3 million. We're still doing a lot of counting out on the West Coast, a lot of counting to come. But this is not where Democrats thought we would be at this point of the night. We don't pick presidents this way, but this is part of the statement Democrats had hoped to make. Joe Biden, we'll see what ends up in the end. California's going to take days to count. Washington State, days. This could significantly grow, but Democrats wanted to make that statement tonight. So now you're back over here. And again, if Trump holds that, he's leading. We haven't called it. If Biden holds that, the same thing. And if Biden gets Arizona, we're not done there yet, but he's leading. Then you have a map with one big flip, maybe plus that. That would be a hold for the president. And again, Wolf, here we go. Just as we did last time, we're going to come down.
I mean, chances are Biden wins, but this just feels like so trash.
Well, so how do you want to get there, right? Let's clear that out.
Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic where people are dying. He's downplaying it. On top of all the other stuff he's done in the past 4 years. And this is what we get.
That would be the thing, so let's just play it out a little in a different way.
Florida, Texas,
then you're at
Ohio.
268. That means the president would have to take one of these away.
North Carolina.
So which one is it?
Iowa.
If you
What's
look at
up?
the polling coming into the race,
y'all are okay with this then?
The former vice president's lead was bigger in Michigan than it was in Wisconsin. So that would be the one if you're looking at the polls. If you don't believe any of the polls, because here we are again in a very close race. Again, these are the states we're going to come down to at the moment.
Nevada.
I'm just going to do them this way because we don't know. The president's leading right now, but there you go. 248, 244. Again, some of this isn't done yet, but that's about where we are. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Who knew?
We just have to be patient and wait for the authorities there to count the votes. It's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated. It gets frustrating, especially now that this is so tight. You have partisans on both sides who are going to be very, very tight about this. You have the president tweeting. People are trying to steal the election. People are trying to count votes. There's no evidence anyone's trying to steal an election. The Trump campaign, the Republican Party has people here, has people here, has people there. So the Biden and the Democratic Party, if they see anything, trust me, they will raise their hands. That's why it happens. This is the process. It's a frustrating year. It's a frustrating in a different year. And you come over here and you look at it, it's frustrating because what have we lived through the last 8 months? The coronavirus. What does that mean? Safety at the polling places today, more in-person early voting, more mail-in voting, which means just complexities. As Senator Santorum was saying earlier, Pennsylvania almost had no early voting last time. They just really didn't do it. Pennsylvania was one of the states that was very slow to move to early voting and the like. And so you look at that and you think, okay, 66% in, the president's up 685,000 votes. Normally, that's what you call the state, right? But we have so many votes missing. Again, Republicans are doing all this math. They think the president's going to eke out Pennsylvania again. Maybe he will. We'll know when they count the votes. We don't need to write the final chapter of the book until we get the votes. Up to 45% now in Allegheny County. That's interesting. We have had some bit of an increase there. Joe Biden at 202,000 votes. The president 134 and change. Again, though, you're told the turnout is up just about everywhere. 367,617 it took to win this county 4 years ago. Joe Biden at 202. So, somewhere there's still a couple 100,000 votes to be counted, we assume, in Allegheny County. Then you come to the east, which is where most of the votes are in the state of Pennsylvania. Let me, before I get to Montgomery, come into Philadelphia County. Again, 46%, Joe Biden with a healthy lead in Philadelphia County, Philadelphia City, and the suburbs around it. 74%, 276,000 votes. 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton had 584,000 votes. So we're missing votes. I don't mean missing as in nobody knows where they are. I mean missing as in nobody's counted them yet. And so we have to wait for this to play out. The same in Montgomery County here again. Hillary Clinton had 226,000 votes 4 years ago. Joe Biden had 196,000, so maybe they're a little closer there at 64%. We can go through them all. This is Bucks County right now. The President of the United States leading in Bucks County right now. If that stays red, that would be significant. If we get to the final vote count, this is the more conservative of the caller counties around Philadelphia. 56.8% for the President, 42%. If you go back 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton carried it just barely. But again, she won with 167,000. The President had 164,000 4 years ago. You come back here, we're nowhere near that. We're less than half that in both cases. So in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and Wisconsin, there are simply more votes to be counted. The President leads. You pull out to the national map. The President leads in all three at the moment. He should be happy to celebrate that for now, but you have to still count the votes. The former Vice President leads in Arizona. That's potentially a Democratic flip, which would be significant as we get into the close math. And it's frustrating for everybody because everybody wants to know. But here, 76%, 113,000 votes. Here, 60%, 288,000 votes. And you come down to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania last. Again, it's a much bigger lead here, but it's also a bigger state. 20 electoral votes.
I am just so mad that he's even leading right now in those states. Why is he even leading in those states right now?
Nobody should be saying cheating. Nobody should be saying cheating. They should be saying count them. Let's be patient.
Indeed. All right, we have another projection, two projections right now. Let's take a look. In Nebraska, the 2nd Congressional District, 1 electoral vote. See, that projects Joe Biden will win that 2nd Congressional District in Nebraska. The last time that happened was in 2008 for a Democrat. 1 electoral vote that Biden will win in that 2nd Congressional District in Nebraska. The other 4 out of 5 electoral votes in Nebraska, Donald Trump, the president, will win. He will win 4 electoral votes out of Nebraska. Joe Biden will win 1. Let's take a look at the Electoral College map, where it stands right now. Look at how close it is. Biden now has 220 electoral votes. Trump has 210 electoral votes, 270, of course, the magic number needed to win the presidency. Let's get a key race alert right now and see where things stand in these states. In Arizona right now, 79% of the estimated vote is in. Biden still maintains his lead, a lead of almost 162,000 votes, 52.5% to 46.1% for Trump. 11 electoral votes in Arizona. In Nevada right now, still very early, only 7% of the estimated vote has been counted. Trump maintains a lead, 35,000 over Biden, 67.8% to 29.5%.
Hey, come here.
So that 1 electoral vote that Biden won in Nebraska potentially could be very significant.
It could be. When you have a race that shapes up to be this close, every one counts. So you'll take it if you get it. At the moment, it's the only flip on the map. Right? If you're looking at the 2016 map, at the moment it's the only flip. We do have anticipation. Joe Biden has to get to the finish line. He's leading there right now. That would be 11. That's a 1. That would be so moving the math there. And if you assume Joe Biden holds this, it gets in closer to the finish line. But again, let's do this from the perspective of 2016, and you come here. And so what are we going to do? First, we're going to start here. We're going to open this up. And we're going to take 1 away. Right? That's what just happened. President of the United States.
Biden better win. I'm saying.
You take that away. And so that's the only takeaway so far. Gets the president down, right? And so then you come over here and you say, all right, can you take this away, right? If that goes away, then you get the president down to 294. Right now, the president is leading. Maine and Nebraska do it by congressional district. The president's leading here right now. Democrats think they can get that, but let's leave it with the president right now. He's leading the vote right there. So where does this leave you if nothing else changes, right? We're still waiting for some of these states. But we now have Florida, we now have Texas back in the Republican fold, we have Ohio back in the Republican fold. So if you look at this map right now, where does it leave you? Well, the president is leading in the vote count here, but we're not done, right? So we take these 3 off the board. You look at them right now, 248, 244, when you take these out of the equation, this is a card game right now, 2 out of 3. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 is the next president of the United States. So you can pick the order, really, if you come through it. Someone does this, and this.
I have no idea.
Joe Biden can do that, he's the president of the United States. Donald Trump can do this.
Scat.
And this,
Look at here.
he's the next president of the United States. Pick
No,
and
stop
choose any of
kicking
these
me.
three right now. So they're all off the board. We just take them off 1, 2, 3 because we have votes to count. But essentially, unless we're stunned by something out in the other states, and that's just most unlikely. Nevada, we have to watch Nevada. The president has a lead in the early vote, I believe, in Nevada. That often happens. Republicans go ahead early. We have to see what happens.
No, I ain't gonna.
But if Nevada stays, a Clinton state, if that stays there, we come down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, shocker, and 2 out of 3 gets you there.
This should be a
Again,
landslide.
you can do
The
math
fact that
either
it's
way,
not is
right?
making me
Two
mad.
ones, the 2 smaller ones, in terms of the electoral votes. That's enough. That gets them to exactly 270, if nothing else changes on the map, right? If the president, if it's for Donald Trump, the president of the United States, he could do it for here and here as well. So it takes 2 out of 3. Obviously, Pennsylvania has 20. It's bigger, but in an odd way, you know, you still, whatever you do, if you get Pennsylvania, you still need one of those. You get both of these, you don't need Pennsylvania. That's the math we're in, and that's math that's going to carry us into the morning, most likely, as they continue
We've
to
been
count
saying
these
for
votes.
weeks that blue wall is going to be critical. It turns out to be absolutely critical. We got a key race alert right now. All right, let's take a look at the second congressional district in Maine. 1 electoral vote at stake. 46% of the estimated vote is now in. Trump maintains his lead over Biden by 18,000 plus votes, 52.1% to 44.4%. That second congressional district, 1 more electoral vote, but Trump still maintaining his lead. Less than half of the vote is in.
Right, less than half of the vote is in. Democrats thought they were going to get this. Democrats thought they were going to carry the state of Maine. I just want to look and see what we know in the vote total over here. Forgive me for walking over here. You just want to look at the map. Again, Maine takes a long time to fill in because of the way they do the townships. 51 to 45, 58% of the vote in. Democrats thought they, let's see, we're not done yet. Democrats thought they would have a bigger lead in Maine, and they thought it would be enough to get them that congressional district. That's certainly what they thought. But again, I'm just going to say this again. The president went to Maine. A lot of people said, why is he doing that? The president went to Maine in the last 10 days of the campaign. A lot of people said, why are you doing that for 1 electoral vote? Well, we're going to find out, probably not tonight, as we go through the hours ahead, whether that mattered. But in the places the president went and campaigned, he's closer or ahead, especially in these other states that we've put his way. So there's no question the Trump rallies drove up turnout. Is it enough? We don't know yet.
We'll soon find out. We have another key race alert right now. In the key battleground state of Michigan right now, 61% of the estimated vote is in. President Trump continues to maintain his lead of about 287,000 votes, 53.3% to 44.9%, 16 electoral votes in Michigan. All right, so let's take a look at Michigan right now, John. As we look at Michigan, 60, we still have 61% of the estimated vote is in. That means 39% of the estimated vote is still outstanding.
Right, and so you look at this lead again, 287,400 and change there. You look at it, you go back to 2016, this was a 10,704 votes. 10,704 votes decided Michigan 4 years ago. So you look at this lead by the president, you say, well, why haven't they called this state? Well, they haven't called the state because of what's missing. It's not what's in, it's what's missing. And so by missing, I mean counting. And again, you look at Wayne County, it's Detroit, it's the suburbs around Detroit, absolutely essential for the Democrats. We went through this 4 years ago. This was a major disappointment for the Clinton campaign. They did not get as many votes as they wanted out of Wayne County, as many votes as they needed out of Wayne County. There's Joe Biden at 206,000, right? Remember, 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton got 519,000 votes. It wasn't enough for her then, but that just tells you they haven't counted the votes. And we know, again, in-person early voting, mail-in voting, election day voting, election officials in all of these states are overwhelmed. They've decided how to sequence their count. The count is going slowly, and so we're waiting. We got a lot of, it's clearly have a lot of votes still to be counted when you see those numbers. So
There's no reason why this should take this long. I'm sorry. There's just no reason. We live in 2020 and it still takes this long to
Yeah, that's
count
right
votes.
there in Wayne County, Detroit. 92,000
Like,
mail-in
come
ballots
on.
still have not been counted yet. So we are expecting those ballots to be counted and have a better idea of what the total is by the morning. I know it's early morning right now, but a little bit later in the morning we expect to find out more about Detroit. Of course, that is a Democratic stronghold. And then you have Macomb County. This was a county that Trump flipped. We are told that 250,000 mail-in ballots are still outstanding to be counted. The number we're seeing in Macomb right now, that is mainly the day of Election Day voting that we're seeing right there on the screen. And so with Macomb, 250,000 are left to be counted there in Michigan. Then you have King County as well. We're told a big chunk of what's remaining in King County is mail-in ballots. So this is certainly keeping us in suspense.
Kent County is over here as well, in the western part of the
They're
state.
doing this on
Grand
purpose.
Rapids and suburbs. Again, you see the president ahead right now at 66%. This is an area where Joe Biden thought they could make a run. It's more conservative in the western part of the state, but again, the Grand Rapids and the suburbs area, 2020, come back to 2016, it was close. It was close, and so one of the reasons the Democrats thought they've watched this across the country, the suburban revolt against the president, they thought they could do better here. Let's see. The 3-point race 4 years ago, again, the president winning Kent County with 148,000. You come over here, he's at 130,000. So this one's not off as much, if you will, but we do think turnout is higher. So we wait for these votes here. But the point Pam made about coming back over here, and when I pull this back up in the east, we'll see the numbers stretch out again. You got 92,000 votes. The early votes should be counted. If that's it in Wayne County, that's trouble for the Democrats in the sense that if you look at the vote count there, the question is that just the early votes or are there more votes? Wayne County is late a lot. If turnout's that much below 2016, that would raise serious questions. What happened there? So I think there's more to be heard about Wayne County, and there's often more questions for Maine County. But let's come up here to Macomb County now. 250,000 votes in Macomb County.
I don't know when part one of my original stream that was like 5 hours long is going to go up.
Nominee than Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump in Macomb County. You pull it up here. Let's bring it out so we can see it.
It's close. It's too close. I seriously question America's moral values.
Well, that's a lot.
Seriously.
The president's right there.
There's no reason why it should be this close. If we lived in a nation with common sense, seeing the bumbling buffoon that is Donald Trump after 4 years of him, we'd be like, yeah, now we're good.
65% of the votes for the president.
But somehow we're still not.
152,000 won this. 4 years ago, it took 224,000 to win this county. So if you've got 250,000 votes still to be counted here, again, that's interesting. The Democrats hope to swing this back to blue. The president has a pretty healthy lead right now, but if you have to count 250,000 votes, that's more than you have on the board right there. You got 220 something, 230, close to 230 when you add it all up. So what does that tell you? Again, we need to count the votes. We need to get to the finish line. And when we have a better sense of the total universe, so you have some here, and some here, we need to find out what's the total universe. Once you know the total universe, then you can figure out Joe Biden needs what percentage of the leftover votes.
We have another projection right now. CNN projects President Trump will win the state of Montana.
No one cares.
Montana, 3 electoral votes in Montana. Trump wins in Montana. Let's take a look at the map right now. 270 needed to win. Biden right now has 220 we've projected. Trump has 213. 270 once again the key number. Let's get a key race alert where things stand right now in Pennsylvania. 66% of the estimated vote is now in. Trump maintains a pretty significant lead, very impressive lead, almost 700,000 vote lead over Biden right now in Pennsylvania. 696,000, 56.6% for Trump, 42% for Biden, 20 electoral votes. Pennsylvania, John, it's looking, at least right now, before we go to your panel around, you're getting some more information about Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're finding out just how many outstanding mail-in ballots are left to be counted there in Pennsylvania. To give you an idea, just from the southeast part of Pennsylvania, there are 600 at least, 646,302 mail-in ballots, and that is not including all of what's left to count there in southeast Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, I'm told there's still around 300,000 ballots left to count there. Now, there is a press conference going on in Philadelphia. We hope to get an update soon, but that is a large amount left to be counted there.
This is not over.
I was last told that, of course, the Democratic stronghold. That is where Democrats
in southeastern Pennsylvania alone, there's 900,000 ballots left. Dang near a million ballots left that haven't been counted. This is not over.
Until later on this morning, and then of course these larger counties, it's just going to take a while to find out what the results are because of those mail-in ballots that they just started processing the morning of the election. They just started opening up those ballots, and it takes a while to process these mail-in ballots. There are several steps to it, and that is why we're left at the edge of our seats as we look at Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's an important point, John. 67% of the estimated vote is in, so 67% now. So what? 43%.
Who has the most points? That is it, first to 270 or whoever has the most points. Yes.
So just a quick question for Pam. You say 646,000.
Biden currently has the most points. He's balling.
Include the 300,000 in
getting a triple-double in electoral votes.
No, that does not. So this is what it includes. So it's including Allegheny, Bucks, Chester County, Delaware County, and Montgomery East.
still a lot of votes. 33%, I should say. 33% of the estimated votes still outstanding in Pennsylvania. So the Democrats cling on to some hope. We got another key race alert. Take a look at Nevada right now with 74%.
Yep, there we go.
Vote. Biden has now taken the lead in Nevada by
How much is that?
52,000 votes or so.
74% reported. 51.6 to 46.
Once again,
Trump was just at 67. Let's go, Nevada.
Nevada has 6, John. 6 electoral votes.
6, and if you look at this,
How much does Arizona have?
2 places. Number 1.
11.
Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Or 10.
Is Clark County. That's big.
It's 11.
This is 72% of the vote, 73% of the vote. So this is the big one. You got to win here. 75% in, a 54 to 44, 10-point race there, 388,000 votes. You go back in time, and so it's about the same, 52. Joe
Wait,
Biden,
no, Nevada has 6 electoral votes. I thought you were asking me how much.
Hillary Clinton's total here, but we're only at 75%. So we'll see if more votes come in.
That's 6
If you went to Nevada and
is running up in
Arizona,
Clark County.
you
Then you
get
come
like
up here
41.
in the northwest part of the state, Reno, Washoe County up here, 50 to 45. That one says it's 80% plus. Let's just go back and take a look at the vote total. Vote total: Joe Biden at 111 and change, Hillary Clinton at 97.
And all the
4
states
years
that
ago, she
Trump
won
is
a little
leading
bit
in.
more narrowly. So again, that's
The mail-in ballots haven't been
2016.
counted
You
yet.
come back to 2020. You expect the president to win the rural parts of the state here, but that's filling in as you would expect it to. And again, the question is, would there be any takeaways? Right? Did Trump flip any Clinton states? Did Biden flip any Trump states? Right now, we have the congressional districts flip. We have the possibility of Arizona. It looks like Nevada. We'll keep counting, and it looks like Nevada's going to stay.
We got another key race alert right now.
God damn.
Look at it, it's narrowed. The Trump lead in Georgia, 91% of the estimated vote is in, 9% still outstanding. Trump's lead
That lead really shrank. That lead really shrank.
Votes over Biden, 50.6% to 48.1%, 16 electoral votes at play in Georgia. So let's take a look at Georgia.
He was up like 300.
Outstanding votes in Georgia right now, 91% of the vote in.
I told you all the votes had not been counted yet.
They still have mail-in
Most of
ballots.
the votes are up here. So you come to DeKalb County, 79%. 80, look at the margin for Joe Biden, right? So you're missing some votes here. That if you're Joe Biden, you're encouraged. It's depending. You don't know what they are. Are they election votes today? Are they early votes? But the potential for Joe Biden to build here, the biggest county of them all, right here, this is very significant. Again, if you're Democrats, you don't have to give up hope. The math gets hard at some point, but you don't have to give up hope right now because if you're at 72% in Fulton County, and you see the margin, 72% of the vote in, and you see the margins right there.
Go.
Joe Biden at 289,000. If we go back 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton got 297,000. So Joe Biden's close to that, but that's the 100%. This is the key, the question. We anticipate turnout up. How much? How much? Because if the Democrats were going to do it in Georgia, which was always a tough hill to climb, you have to do it right here. You have to beat that Hillary Clinton vote total by a significant amount. If you're at 72% and you're Joe Biden, you're in reach of that. So you're going to watch that play out. Let's move over to Cobb County. 89% in here. This is a tighter county. It's a little bit more, but the Democrats running it up. So there's possibility of more votes there. Again, 210,000. You go back and look. Joe Biden well in excess of Hillary Clinton's total in this county now. The question is, can he build on it some more? So you keep looking around Metro Atlanta. You come down here. You're starting to move away a little bit. Douglas County up to 91%, but potentially some more votes there. So then you pull out and you take a look. Let's just check the other Democratic areas. You come over here.
Let me just interrupt for a moment, John, because go to Georgia as a whole, statewide as a whole right now, and let's say we take it down to 90% of the estimated vote reporting right now, because and let's see where those outstanding votes were made.
Well, let's see if we can figure it out. We know most of them are in Metro Atlanta, but let's see what we can see here as we go. That's 87% reporting or less. So as you come back in here and do it this way, you just see, let's run the math, or you can come at it from this point as well. No, that's not going to do it for us. So you see most of the votes that are missing are still in the Metro Atlanta region. I'm going to bring this over and blank it out. Let me go there. There we go. See, now you get the map. Let me come out of it. Can't get that to turn off. Well, we're gonna because it's stuck in the
Great job, professional news station.
See,
He's having the smartboard problems.
Reset this one. So you're going to have to wait a minute for me.
All right, let's take a quick break. As you fix that, take a quick break. Much more of our special coverage. We're
Like a kindergarten teacher with a smartboard.
States, it's close. We'll be right back.
I don't think we'll get PA. I know we'll get PA. There's still over 1 million ballots that haven't been counted in southeastern PA alone.
We all are. When we are convinced that we are not.
But every
soon. I need that head now.
Exactly how weak do you think I am?
I'm hoping we steal Wisconsin. The Democrats are carrying Wisconsin.
They were always thin, and I
Clinch, Michigan, we're carrying both. We're carrying both. They just need to get the votes in. Trust me.
Down by 100,000.
Exactly. Trust me. There are so many votes that are not counted. You said in Georgia or
Wisconsin.
yeah, in Wisconsin. We are so close. There are so many that just aren't counted yet.
It's life changing. My name is Nefertiti, and Noom worked for me. Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
This is Kate. She always wanted her smile to shine. Now she uses a capful of TheraBreath Healthy Smile Oral Rinse to give her the healthy sparkly smile
I'm just
she
saying,
always wanted.
going into tomorrow
It's a better mouthwash at Walmart, Target,
with
and stores.
only 100,000 vote lead in Georgia, with outstanding votes from the predominantly Atlanta area, is not looking good for Donald.
America's five pharmaceutical companies have one very important thing in
I'm
common.
gonna get cussed out.
We're making great progress because we're collaborating in ways that we've never done before.
In a matter of weeks, we've progressed from potential treatments
To antibodies and antivirals that have shown positive results.
to several promising vaccine candidates.
Because science
Science is how we get back to normal.
We're gonna be fine, guys.
While you watch this historic night unfold,
Hey, if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. What?
When the mail-in ballots come, bro, we're only down 100,000 in Georgia, North Carolina,
on CNN
and
and
Wisconsin.
CNN.com.
Crazy.
And Iowa.
May work differently tomorrow, but you can
Wow.
have anything with Comcast Business. Get fast, reliable, and secure internet on the
We'll be fine, guys. We're within striking distance.
like Wi-Fi you control.
If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We're at 1.61 thousand. We were at 1.44 when I started this.
Be flexible, bounce
Yeah.
with Comcast Business. Get started with a powerful internet
Yeah,
device solution for a great price and
1.4K
high golf.
in your
Plus
life.
for a limited time.
What?
That's gonna get a $250 prepaid card with
No, I have 180. I was saying I have 1,600 subscribers now.
First of all, a fried chicken sandwich with
Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff.
chicken sandwich hand-breaded and handcrafted with over 6
When I get my PC, we're gonna go full boss mode. It's gonna be great.
made by fried chicken lovers for fried chicken lovers. Meet Church's new chicken sandwich. Everything you love about Church's between two bones. And it's fine on these meals. That's the way. Church's.
They come to Michigan and
This is
yeah,
CNN.
Wisconsin. Yeah, it already is down to
Reach
them.
on CNN than any other news source.
All right, give me the good news. Arizona's over, man. Just call it. It's been like that since '76.
Welcome back. Let's take a close look at where the Electoral College count stands right now. 270 needed to win the presidency. Right now, Biden has 220. Trump has 213. We're watching this very, very closely. Let's get a key race alert right now. In Arizona right now, 80% of the estimated vote is now in. Biden maintains his lead of about 155,000 votes. He has 52.4% to 46.3% for Trump. 11 electoral votes in Arizona. In Nevada right now, 75%
It's over.
of the estimated vote is in. Biden has the lead there by about 48,000 votes. He's at 51.4% to 46.8% for Trump. 6 electoral votes at stake in Nevada. Let's go back to John King at the Magic Wall. John, you fixed that map for us. We're watching it closely. This is still a nail biter for all practical purposes.
And it's going to be, I think, through the night as we go. You just mentioned, Nevada. Joe Biden has pulled ahead out there. We're waiting for the
And
votes
then
out there.
the
but
top
they're
part,
looking for anything.
it comes up like
Who's
that,
gonna
and then
flip? This was
this
a Clinton state.
moves out
It
like
looks like we'll have to keep counting votes there. But it looks like that one stays. The one flip on the map so far in terms
Yeah,
of
we're
the
just
state
keeping this
would be
until the,
Arizona if we get this to the finish line. 52 to 46 right there. Again, this is Maricopa County in the suburbs. embracing Joe Biden 4 years after Donald Trump carried the county narrowly, but carried the county, the biggest part of the state. So you see that this is a big deal because if you're Joe Biden, you're trying to flip something on the map, and you've been disappointed in Florida, disappointed in Texas, disappointed in Ohio, probably to be disappointed in North Carolina. So that's one that you're looking for. And again, we have the congressional district in Nebraska. It's in here. It doesn't show up on this map. You pull it out. The congressional district here in terms of the electoral college, that's one. You get to Joe Biden there as you're looking to pick it up. So then you come back over here. This one's interesting. We were just talking about it when we had the little glitch. It's interesting because Donald Trump opened up an early lead, and we said, let's wait, especially because here, Atlanta and the suburbs, and the blue ring, it's more blue now than it used to be in years past because Democrats are doing better in the suburbs. But you also see it in other places as well. We come down here to Columbus. We're at 89% here. You see Joe Biden's lead here, so we're still counting some votes here. If you're the Democrats, you're thinking, where might votes come in for us? Let's come over here to Savannah and see here, you're up to 80% here. So there could be a few more there, but you're getting close as you go up. The bulk of the votes in the state anyway, I'm going to check on Richmond County here, 86%. So there might be a few more, but it's not a big number. And so the bulk of the votes for Democrats anyway, bulk of the votes in the state are here. And you come to Fulton, get rid of this so it's not distracting, 72%. So that's more votes to be counted. More votes to be counted, which means you want to be patient here. This is by far, it's about 10% of the vote statewide. And then you just walk your way through these suburbs. DeKalb County, it's 80%, so we have more votes to count. But again, look at the margin here, right? So if you're counting more votes and they stay anywhere close to this percentage, that's a chance for Joe Biden to run up votes in big numbers. Right, we move over here to Gwinnett County, up to 95% here, so maybe a little bit more, but not a lot of math here. We come back across, we check on Fulton, and we come to the west, look at Cobb, come down here, and look at Douglas. These are places, again, Joe Biden's winning big here. It's not as big of a county, but there's potentially. So you're looking now, 118,000. That looks like a big lead, but let's count them. Let's be patient.
You want to know what I just realized, guys? I said I was going to get off at midnight, get into one, basically. I'm not getting off.
46% here, but you come up here to 2020, and you see, and we'll see how it plays out. And we'll watch it go. You're watching the rest of the map again, waiting.
Don't get me started on Joe Biden's tax plan. It's the most milquetoast thing, and nobody will be affected by it besides the literal 1%. If you see Joe Biden's tax plan and say, I'm not voting for him because of land, you're stupid. Unless you're making $400,000 a year. In that case, you're still stupid.
5%, so you're looking at more votes here. The question is, does Joe Biden keep that margin? If he does, if the rest of the votes come in at anywhere close to that rate, that should be a big enough push in there, but you have to wait to count them and see. And check up here, 82%, so we're getting close up here. It looks like that map, it's filling in a way that the Democrats want to fill in. You just need to wait to see if the margins hold. Let's just check in the rural areas. 76%, just not as many votes. We come in here, see, even if the president gets a few more votes out of these places, they're pretty small, but we'll keep counting. And then you come back, let's just move back here to the east. Just check on a few places. North Carolina. This one has tightened some.
Uh-oh.
It's tightened some, but you're still looking
76,000.
for the president there.
That's tightened.
Yeah, this tightened a little bit. No, a lot of it.
Any movement. This last we were here, it's not 699,000 votes. What you're waiting for is to see the percentage jump up here. We're still at 48%. And we went through this in 2016 in Philadelphia, in Detroit, in Milwaukee, right? The map was trending Trump's way late. Democrats were saying, be patient, be patient, be patient. We'll get our votes in 2016.
You know what our goal is going to be? We're going to be the only ones live covering this election at like 5 in the morning. Tomorrow. We're almost there. We'll see how it's looking around like 1-2. If it's looking like none of those states have moved, then I might have to get off and go to bed. Let's go. Joe.
We got some math to do.
No, I have my computer down here already, and I have my charger stuff down here. If I have to go to sleep, I'm just gonna sleep there and then get up for school like there. So I don't gotta go upstairs, and I already have my cover, so.
Race out here. You look at this again. We're told turnout is up just about everywhere. He's at 251, almost 252,000. You come back. Hillary Clinton had a sizably bigger vote.
And tomorrow is when we'll find out for real.
We'd all like to know. We gotta wait.
Because there's a chance that North Carolina still flips.
That's the way it is.
And there's a very good chance that Georgia goes to us.
For President Trump to speak, we expect him to be speaking fairly soon. We're watching some of the
in Nevada,
in Arizona, and Georgia, some of the other states. We'll be right back.
Cat is laying on top of the couch. Not behind you. I mean, behind you, but not on you.
$225,000.
How is Trump still awake? He popped uppers. He is on all the drugs right now. He's chugged 85 Diet Cokes as we speak.
And a Red Bull.
And about 12 Red Bulls. And a couple Big Macs.
And the coronavirus.
Georgia's gonna... If Georgia... Look, this is where we are right now. We're 76,000 votes away in North Carolina. 100,000 votes away in Georgia. Like 600,000 votes away in Pennsylvania, with like maybe 1.5 million votes left to go, which are majority mail-in, which are Democrat votes. Then we're very close in Wisconsin and Michigan, which we're going to take those. It's looking pretty decent. It just looks gloomy now because Trump obviously has
This just shows you how despicable humans can get.
Oh yeah. The fact that Trump can do all this and still have a shot at winning. All the models had him at a 4% like chance at 4 to 10% chance at winning. The fact that people just said, "This is okay, let me just vote." Like, so what? Pappy died to coronavirus. Oh my God. Like Texas in particular, what is going on, bro? What's wrong with y'all? Why? Y'all have the most.
Is it possible for the states that they called today?
Yeah, it's possible for them to be wrong. Oh, man, it looks like they won't get Texas though, but like Texas, Florida, y'all are two of the worst states with coronavirus, and y'all still voting for the dude who is happening under. We've been at this for a year now.
Lactate is 100% real milk,
They don't
just
care.
without the lactose,
No.
so you can enjoy it even if you're sensitive. Yet some people say lactate isn't real milk.
Mail-in votes, mail-in votes, mail-in votes, mail-in votes.
Sit. I said sit.
Ohio is some BS. Ohio is super BS.
The newsletters. The mobile app.
What if we woke up tomorrow and Joe Biden wins 450?
Oh, what happened? Y'all were mad wrong. Connor, why are you still awake? Go to bed.
Other law firms had given up, and I was afraid I was never going to see my son again. But then I found attorney Jeffrey Loving. Jeffrey Loving and the attorneys at his firm, they're extremely effective.
The day the whole map goes blue.
And Jaden, what up, Jaden? Y'all need to go to bed. Why are y'all watching me?
Go to dadsrights.com if you need the same things that I did. Thanks to Jeffrey
Oh,
Loving,
yeah.
I have my son back.
Visit dadsrights.com because every moment with your kids is one worth fighting for.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Joe Biden has to break, like, 300, so they have to be wrong about something. Because, like the margin of error in a lot of these polls were, like, maybe 3%, but a lot of the swing states, Joe Biden was up in by a lot. Like, I don't see... I don't know. Those mail-in ballots are going to change something. They have to change something. The map's not going to look like this. Does Trump have a chance of winning? Yes. For no reason whatsoever.
This is CNN.
This man bumbled and corona his way into the election and still's close. Is it first to 270? Yeah.
We get a lot of pictures coming in from inside the White House.
Oh.
The President of the United States is going
As Trump made a
Get
statement,
off
he
the
will.
stage, you stay! 2 a.m. here on the East Coast.
He will be making a statement.
To hear from the President of the United States. We're watching it very closely. Right now, the electoral count, the map. Right now, take a look at this. Trump has 200. Biden, has 220. Trump has 213. You need 270 electoral college votes to win the presidency. 220 to 213. Biden is slightly ahead in that all-important route. Let's take a look at a key race alert right now. Starting with Arizona, it's 11 electoral votes. 80% of the vote in Arizona is now in. Biden maintains a lead of 155,000 votes, 52.4% to 46.3%. Biden is ahead in Arizona. In Nevada, 78% of the vote is in. Biden is ahead there by nearly 30,000 votes, 50.4% to 47.7%. 6 electoral votes in Nevada. In Georgia right now, 91% of the vote is in. Trump maintains a lead, but it's narrowed down to 118,000. A vote lead over Biden, 50.6%. to 48.1%. And as we're waiting to hear from President Trump, let's go back to Jake, Dana, and F.
Thanks, Wolf. Well, of course, this year has been fraught with so many developments that it makes sense that we don't have a decisive answer as to what exactly is happening on Election Day. It is already the day after Election Day, but we see in a number of important battleground states, it is way too close to call. They are still counting the votes.
Right, and these are states that include the so-called...
Oh, Jack, what up?
...has been promising for months to build back for Democrats from
Jack,
Michigan,
Jaden,
Wisconsin,
and
Indiana,
Connor are all here
Pennsylvania. We
spamming.
simply do not know what is going to happen in those states, particularly a place like Pennsylvania, where the Secretary of State there has said that they could be counting the votes until Friday of this week.
And Pamela Brown has said that they still have 2 million ballots.
Here comes Trump.
Write-in ballots, mail ballots, yet to count.
You know they were paid to wave their hands like
And
that.
frankly, we've been telling everyone this for
He's
days
not that
and
interesting.
weeks now,
Yeah.
so it's happening. And hopefully we prepared everyone at home to be patient and just to wait for this to happen. I think what we're about to witness as we wait for President Trump to come out is really important. It's a very important moment for him. He is the incumbent president of the United States.
Trash.
He gets to set the tone for how this goes.
He's gonna say they won. Watch.
Will he give us the unfiltered Trump that we saw earlier on Twitter? Or will he give us something more restrained and more thought through?
If you really think he's going to be more restrained and thought through, like, have you been living under a rock?
Or will we get something that is trying to declare victory where there is no victory?
There you go. You just said the answer.
That's the important question.
I think you're being very charitable by suggesting we don't know what he's going to do based on what he
It's a
said.
question of will he read a teleprompter or will he just riff? I mean, I think there's a big difference between a teleprompter Donald Trump and riffing.
No, there's not.
Fair enough.
There is, in that he's able to. Nah, he's not able to pronounce words. The words that he says are less stupid when he's on a teleprompter because people are telling him what to say. Still
Misleadingly,
stupid.
potentially dangerously, as Dana noted, that Democrats
Someone
are
fall
trying
over?
to
Wow.
steal the election, and there is no evidence of
Trump
anyone
fell
trying
over.
to steal the election. There is evidence
I hope so.
of election
done.
workers in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada,
Sorry,
Arizona,
my eyes irritated.
counting the votes.
I'm not suggesting that there will be some kind of new Donald Trump tonight by any stretch of the imagination. What I'm saying is, I wonder if there are people in that White House who recognize the historical importance of what he's about to do. Will he try to declare victory on election night when votes have not been counted, which has not been done?
So as you know,
and I think that would be a completely different situation.
As you know, because you covered the Trump White House, the answer is yes, there are people who understand the historical importance, but the question is whether those people are going to get to the, either want to get to the president at this point to try to get him to tone it down, certainly as it relates to his earlier tweet, or whether it's even a lost cause for this president, because he has been saying what he said in his tweet earlier every single chance he got on the stump. Right,
He's been saying it for a week, so it doesn't. Even if he sticks to teleprompter today, and it was written by one of the few guardrails left in that White House, I mean, he's already said what he has said. He has already put the lie out there among his supporters. Is all I'm saying. Hope springs eternal. And I hope you're right.
I completely agree with you. I do think that the night of an election, when both candidates come out and they say
It's
their
a car.
these are things that history will remember. I think people recognize that in this White House. The tweets are the tweets.
What are we? Why are we spamming? How old are you? Oh,
You're see what he does.
94.
The wise thing for President Trump to
94 what?
is
His
to
majority
write
teenagers in
something
his live.
that
Noah
is
asked how old they are, and
actually
someone told him
Biden
94.
said,
Like, okay, Gramps, get off the computer. You're gonna have a hernia.
President Trump to say, I don't think I'm going to win.
And he might.
For him to say, I won, and this is being stolen from me, would be historically, it would be a tectonic type of event, I think, in American politics.
First, we got a 13-year-old watching this. This is you need to get involved in politics. We need to get the young involved in politics. I'm old now. Once you get involved in politics, you immediately age 5 years.
To count votes. And that is something that I've seen historians remind
12.
me of going back into election after election. And that's not going to change if and when the president says something different. I mean,
Sure.
it's just not.
And let's remember, this is the 6th presidential race that I've covered, and the first two, 2000, 2004, we did not know who won that night.
There you go.
We did not know. Now it has
Let's hope
happened.
it's not 36 days.
No, we
But it
do.
could be.
But it could be. We don't know. There are lots of write-in and mail-in ballots that are being counted.
I'm watching
in
my
several
pets right now.
states, and just like the Trump campaign, the White House don't want us to prematurely call Arizona or Nevada. The Biden people don't want us to prematurely call any other states. Let's bring in Jim Acosta, who was at the White House. Again, President
Latte, no jumping.
A little late, based on what we were told and when he was going to come out. What are you anticipating he's going to say?
Come here.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, just to give you a sense
Come
of
here.
the mood inside the Trump campaign,
Let the
they
people
are
see.
white
Come here.
hot over
No.
this call on another
No.
network for Arizona for Joe
Come here.
Biden. They have been clamoring for the other networks to not call Arizona for Joe Biden.
Still
That
can't
is
see you.
part
Hold
of
on.
what is driving some of the president's anger, and I think we'll see some of that expressed when he comes out in a few moments. He is going to try to make
You
the
guys
case
saw
as
her
he did
there.
on Twitter that just
Hey,
counting
baby.
the votes in some of these battleground states,
Hey.
leftover battleground states, somehow deprives him of a victory or cheats him out of a victory. Let's keep in mind, counting the votes in these remaining states
Roger,
is
no,
not a
come here.
victory for Democrats, it's a victory for democracy. And so I think to some extent, there needs to be a strong
Yeah.
general warning on what
Yeah,
the
the dog
president says
will-
here as he comes
the
out.
dog
Because he's
licked me.
going to express, I think, in front of the cameras, precisely what he was just saying a few moments ago in those tweets.
What happens
which
if
is
one of
he
them
feels that
reaches
this election is
270
being
before all
stolen
the
from
mail-in
him,
is
when
counted?
in fact, it's not being stolen from anybody. It's just the natural
If
process
Trump
of
reaches
counting
270
votes.
and then like the
so,
mail-in gets
you know,
counted and it
some of
flips
this
the
is being
state,
driven
so he's
by,
not at 270 anymore,
So just some extreme
that's when
tension
all
inside
like
Trump
hell
campaign
breaks loose. Because then he can
headquarters
declare
right now. They
victory
thought
at
things were going
270.
along, well tonight. They saw some of these.
I have both a cat and a dog.
But I guarantee you, if Biden gets 270, he declares victory.
No,
he can't do that. He can't do
As
that.
they did in 2016, and then when some of these, results were coming in, Arizona being called by another network.
He's already about to give a statement where he says the Democrats are trying to steal the
their
election.
plans. And I think also what is happening in Nebraska with that one electoral vote going to Joe Biden in Nebraska that we called, that was also not in the Trump campaign's plans. And so things are not going according to what they were hoping to see tonight, and they're reacting accordingly. I do think when the president comes out here, it is very likely he's going to say things that are just flat false. He's going to be making claims about voter fraud and so on, and we just have to remind our viewers, Jake, and as you have so many times, there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud in this country, and just because the president says something doesn't make it so. He doesn't get to declare who the president of the United States is. The voters get to do that. Election authorities get to do that across the country.
That's right, Jim Acosta at the White House. Thanks so much, and we're still waiting for President Trump to come out and give his statement. We're not exactly sure what he's going to say. He has been saying things, Abby, about the election being stolen from him that are false, that Twitter and Facebook have labeled as false because he put them out on social media first. We don't have the capability of doing that like in pop-up video on VH1 and immediately next to his face.
Abby, we'll explain what VH1 is later.
But at the same time, it is important, as Jim notes, that if the president comes out and says that the election's being stolen from him, that he has won, that is not true. That is not accurate. Now, it may be that the president ends up winning fair and square once all the votes are counted. We don't know. It's certainly a much closer race than a lot of other people predicted.
And you pointed out earlier that the complete hypocrisy, where literally in the same breath they're saying, please count all the votes in Arizona, don't call that race early. But they're also saying in Pennsylvania, they're saying in Pennsylvania, well, if you keep counting after tonight, then you're stealing the election. It doesn't make any sense. Both the votes in Arizona and the votes in Pennsylvania are just as legitimate. They need to be counted, but we need to be prepared, obviously, for the president to make all kinds of outlandish claims. There are a lot of things that are outstanding on this board, incling Georgia.
The fact that they're just all perfectly awake and sounding like that, and they're not like
They're on crack. They're all on crack.
they're not like dozing off and it's like
look at just at what's outstanding. Does anybody just tuning in?
they
right
cut
now
back to
still
me in the
waiting
studio and
to
I'd be face down on the
still
desk.
waiting for the final results from
Dead
Georgia and
asleep.
North Carolina. Those look to be states that President Trump is leaning towards victory, but they have not been called, and there remain outstanding votes. Obviously, the blue wall states that Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. That Joe
If we can somehow come back and pick up Georgia and North Carolina, then Texas and that was all doesn't matter.
Not only are there outstanding votes,
Doesn't
there
matter.
are many outstanding votes that were vote by mail. That are
Please stay on. You're helping me with stress right now. I'm gonna stay on.
Leaning counties, so we are still waiting to hear what those states
So
have.
chill, exactly. Just don't, just chill out. Don't be worried about it.
Pennsylvania alone, which would obviously be quite significant. And then out west, we have Nevada and Arizona. President Trump and his campaign taking the exact opposite tack there. Those are states where President Trump is behind. And another network called Arizona. We have not called Arizona, but the Trump campaign, as Abby points out, completely hypocritically is saying, don't call Arizona, they haven't counted all the votes, and is saying the exact opposite when it comes to the blue wall states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Right, and if we do, in fact, hear the president saying things about, counting votes after Election Day, isn't real, or it's fraudulent, or whatever he's going to say,
what happened to Trump? Did he have a heart attack? Why is he not coming here?
And that's what that was for.
Exactly. He broke an ankle or something. When he died.
Some states actually allow votes to come in after election,
including plenty of Republican states like Ohio and Mississippi.
He's extra late. He did.
For the moment, what we are largely going to see.
He tested positive for COVID again.
Is count votes.
That man died.
As part of
He's slumped right now on the floor.
225 to 213.
And I'm sure there will be lots of votes that will be contested. The lawyers are already chomping at the bit.
I think it was the main
That
district.
is the most important part of the story to remember before we listen to the president.
Yeah, counting every vote is a fundamental democratic principle. It's part of what is important when it comes to democracy in this country. It's one of the reasons why states bend over backwards to make sure that as many valid ballots from legal voters can count as much as possible.
He must have died.
The idea that this president is seeking to openly disenfranchise people, tens of thousands of whom
Where is he
voted
at?
for
Or
him,
he's just trying to come down off the Xanax.
And it's something that even Republicans, like Ben Ginsburg, a Republican lawyer who has been
Or he's trying
involved
to
in
fix his toupee.
fraud-related issues for the Republican Party
Or all
for many
the above.
years.
Or he's trying to get another
basically has said
injection
is
of the
completely
coronavirus
undemocratic. The idea
vaccine.
that you can just say, just
He'll
because
pass
votes
away
are
in 2
coming
seconds.
from more democratic-leaning part of the country, they shouldn't be counted, is really beyond the pale, and it has no historical
Or his
precedent
orange
for
is
President of the United
is running
States
off his
in
face.
particular to make that
I think his spray tan isn't sticking correctly.
has actually been
Well, but he's been saying it for
He's
a long
sweating
time.
all
He
over
was
himself.
saying that early voting in
Whole
Pennsylvania
shirt covered in orange.
is not acceptable.
He's too busy injecting bleach into his arm.
Jesus
Christ.
Some rules and differences, but I mean that is how he has been waging this campaign when it comes to counting.
Bruh,
the
he was
votes.
supposed to
But
speak
again,
30 minutes ago.
Exactly, that man is late.
It's not up to him.
He collapsed on the floor.
Orange is mad sus. They voted him out. He got ejected already.
Candidate gets
He's
awarded
floating through the
elections in
air.
that state.
No, that's exactly right. And
No, he's saying Joe Biden gained 5 points and said, no, never mind.
Exactly.
It is pretty clear that he knew kind of going into this that this would be a possibility, which is why we heard from Joe Biden in his campaign leading into Election Day. The answer to what we could see right now is win decisively. And the Biden campaign has not won decisively. So that is out the window. And now we have to deal with whatever we're going to see. And that is...
What states are we for sure getting? I believe we're for sure getting Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
The Biden campaign has not won early, but we don't know yet if it will be decisively. Because just because we don't know what the outcome is in these states doesn't mean that it's not going to be a decisive victory for one candidate
really
or
important
another. It's just not an early.
Yeah, I think what I meant. No, it's such a good point. And I think what they were meaning is early and decisively, so to overcome the psychological.
If they could have flipped Florida, we would be having a completely different conversation right now at almost 2 o'clock. 2:13 in the morning. But the thing is, but that didn't happen, and so now this is going to be a protracted process.
Yeah, look, I mean, Americans are not necessarily known for our attention spans.
Yeah.
And one
Sorry,
of the
what'd you
things,
say?
and one of
Oh, that was hilarious!
that there would be some
What
sort of
attention
closure
span?
so everybody could know who the president was.
What you say?
and go to bed at night, and that would be the end of it.
No,
But this is-
no,
this is
Deborah,
an
stop.
thriller where you find out who
Your
did it,
grandkids
and
miss
all
you.
over. This is
Supposed
like
to
a
be at the
Netflix
crib right
10-part
now.
miniseries. I mean,
This is the year 2020.
Yeah, this
Nothing
is
is
gonna take
missing this year.
And this is a divided country. That's not a news flash.
Orange
We know
Benson.
that. It's a very divided country, and that
Orange got stuck in a vent.
clearing out.
Trump is
And
stuck in a vent right
starting
now.
to see.
Yeah, including by the fact that we haven't talked about this.
Bro, what is
too
this
much.
dude
That's
doing?
the
Oh
thing.
my
I don't
God.
know what he's doing.
At this point, nobody's looking forward to what you have to say.
Bro, they've been
Just
aiming
go back
at
to your
that
office.
curtain. Half that room is asleep right now. And it's 2 in the morning.
Even while possibly the Democrat is elected to the White House.
Bro, something had to happen because they're all waving their hands and they oh,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look.
bro,
They're
what
all
happened,
like,
G?
they're all like, whoa, right here, whoa. How he's gone for 30 minutes. He died. He broke a leg or he's dead. He came out and his knee buckled. He came out and he buckled his knee and now he's somewhere backstage having surgery.
They said, yeah, whoa. And now he hasn't been seen for 30 minutes.
Bro,
the landscape.
that man's leg is decimated as we
Still
speak.
figuring out what that looks like all over the country, not just in the upper Midwest, but in parts
Is
of
there
the
even
South.
anybody in that room
Bro,
anymore?
this is in the White House. How does it take you this long to get to a different part of your own house?
Is there anybody in that room anymore?
Yeah, there are people in the
A
room.
big change in this country, and we're not quite there yet, which is why tonight.
Joe was on time, exactly. If that gives you any indication of who actually cares. Unless, of course, he died. Then
I think he's trying to wait until he
Virginia used to be
tries to get
state?
another state or
battleground
something.
state. And now it almost automatically
wait till
goes
someone
to
calls
Democrats. On the
like
other hand,
Georgia or something
we've seen
when they're not going
Republicans
to
make
do,
inroads
or North
with
Carolina, which
Latinos,
they're not
Latino
going to do.
voters in Florida and Texas and other places. A lot of
The
those
GOP
votes are still
holds
being
the Senate, are you
tabulated,
sure?
But in terms of the margins, that we didn't anticipate would happen necessarily. Although certainly people were sounding the alarms about Joe Biden and Latino voters. But there is an alignment, a realignment going on, and so it takes a little while sometimes when that's happening, and the votes are so close in each state.
We won't know the results for the Senate election or this election until
Georgia
tomorrow.
are the prime
Does
examples
not care.
of that tonight. Arizona, we have been talking about the
When did he
dramatic
announce he would-
demographic shift in that state. And Georgia, same thing. I mean, Georgia was so
been almost 40
incredibly red.
minutes.
2 years ago, there was that razor-thin gubernatorial race. And now we have 2 Senate races in Georgia, and the presidential is seeing a battlefield in Georgia, and we really don't know how it's going to turn out because of the outstanding votes in the major population center of Atlanta. We just don't know, and those are, it's people moving in, it's the populations being more diverse and younger.
Well, one thing's for sure. I mean, we are still talking about Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania
Yeah.
4 years later, and it could very well be that those states remain battlegrounds. I think Democrats probably had hoped that after tonight, that if Joe Biden could win them back, it would be in such a decisive manner that it would kind of take it off the board for Republicans in the future. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen tonight. I think those are going to continue to be states that are fought over, which is a big change. I mean, they really have been up for grabs for a long time, which is why 2016 was such a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan have always been battleground states, but they're usually the kind of battleground states that Republicans 2 weeks before the election pull out of and start competing and focusing just on Florida or Virginia, et cetera. But now they truly are battleground states. Donald Trump has upended that. He tore down the blue wall that Democrats used to be relying upon. Joe Biden trying to rebuild it. We don't know what's going to happen. They have literally millions of ballots that remain needing to be counted. And they're going through that, and they're doing that the best they can. Again, we're waiting for President Trump to come out to the east room of the White House at any moment. We are expecting, based on his tweet earlier this evening that has been labeled as misleading by both Twitter and Facebook, we are expecting that the president will prematurely and falsely declare.
Maybe he's raging because Twitter decided that his tweet
other
was
states other than
bad.
the ones that he wants to do counting, such as Arizona, and that other attempts to count votes in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin is stealing votes, and that is not accurate. That is not what is going on. There is no evidence of ballots or votes being stolen in those states. There is evidence that election officials are trying to count the votes.
You do have to wonder
Okay.
what's taking the president so long.
I just
I
say
mean,
that.
it is a little bit of a it's interesting because he seemed so sure when he tweeted what he tweeted a couple of at this point maybe an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. He seemed so sure then.
But now he's
I just wonder what is the delay in coming out and saying what he needs to say. Joe Biden has already said
because he's trash. He only.
I think they got inside info that it's over.
The president feels the same.
Not, bro.
It should be
They
come out and say that, but
were going to come out and say that because Joe Biden did it. If Joe
Joe
Biden never did it, Joe Biden never did it. He wasn't gonna come out.
Jim, what is the holdup? We were told by the president's team that he was going to be out a long time ago.
Yeah. I think only one person can answer that question, and maybe the president's going to come out in a few moments.
Here goes Don Jr.
Don Jr. just walking out as I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. Ivanka Trump.
None of them wearing masks.
The Trump family, so it sounds like this is going to happen soon. But I think the
None
president.
of them wearing masks.
None of them. No president. No president.
The president 4 years ago, around this time, as we were all watching.
They're all hideous.
Donald Trump is not in the same place he was 4 years ago. He is hanging on to his political life right now. And
I hope they know where all of those people have been because none of them are wearing
projecting
masks.
that he's going to win this race. We expect him to say that. He is just not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot.
No, and here he is. Let's listen in.
President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Ooh.
That music playing to the fat tub of lard walking out is not settling.
You're a trash human being. That doesn't even look like Trump.
Melania's
That's
like,
his double. That's Trump's double. That is Trump's double.
Melania's like, we're almost out of here.
That's Trump's double. That's why it took so long.
Russia.
Thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you.
He's supposed to be asleep.
I appreciate it very much. And
Sound like you
I
asleep.
want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise.
Oh, here we go.
Ah! We won't stand for it. We will not stand for it.
False! You're lying!
Thank the First Lady.
I wish Twitter could mute this, like they did his tweets.
Mrs. Pence for being with us, all three of us.
I'm sorry, I had to sneeze because of the BS that I just heard.
And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden
When?
it just all
When?
Where?
When?
The results tonight have been
When?
phenomenal.
When?
And we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we
When?
are just all set to get outside.
When?
and just celebrate something
When?
that was so beautiful, so good.
When?
Such a vote, such a success.
When?
The citizens of this country have come out in
When?
record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like
How?
it. To support our incredible movement. We won states that we
Do you
won.
not see the score?
In Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot.
No, you didn't.
When? Joe Biden has 225. You still have 213. When?
The great state of Ohio. We won Texas.
We won Texas. We won Texas, right? Right?
We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations.
They didn't.
It's
Oh
also there that we have
my.
won Georgia.
You didn't win Georgia! You didn't win Georgia!
Look at his face. You can tell it on his face.
There were 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us. Likewise,
Clip
we
it.
really won
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Clip it. Only up by 70,000 votes. Clip it.
0.4%, or 77,000 votes with only approximately 5% left. They can't catch us.
Clip it.
We also, if you look and you see,
They can't catch it.
in Arizona, we have a lot of life in that. And somebody
Where?
said-
Where? Where?
somebody declared
Where?
that it was a victory
You're down by
for
almost
me.
200,000 votes. Where?
But certainly there were a lot of votes out there that we could get because we're now just coming
Bro,
into
the
what
cap
they
in this
call
man's
Trump
rap.
territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters, and that could be overturned. The gentleman that called it, I watched tonight. He said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that Arizona. But
Where's your inhaler?
there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed and the numbers have substantially come down just in...
Oh, they haven't.
Oh my gosh,
so
bro.
we want that obviously to stay in play. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount.
There's a million that hasn't been counted. This nigga weird, bro. Look. He looks so irritated.
Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 690,000.
Let's fact check this on the spot.
He is, but the votes haven't been counted.
64% of the vote-in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president.
When those millions of votes are counted, he will be down at least 400,000 votes.
We're winning Michigan. I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said,
whoa.
Wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes. And 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin. And so we don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added,
yes,
I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, and Greg Abbott, he said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. And it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. Then he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has.
Cat.
So we won.
It's added in.
7,000 votes with 81% of the vote.
Where's the, bruh?
So when you take those three states
Shut
in
this
particular,
goofy off.
and you take all
Not
of
trying to
the
hear him
others,
talk.
I mean, we have so many. We had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And
It's
you have
off.
These announcers saying, what happened?
They
And
go
then said,
win.
because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't.
I can't listen to him ramble.
Let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they
Here
were
it
going to
is.
send out tens
Here
of
it is.
millions.
He's trying to steal the
They said
election.
exactly.
Here we go.
Because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court. So Florida was a tremendous victory. 377,000. Texas, as we said. Ohio. Think of this. Ohio, a tremendous state, a big state. I love Ohio. We won by 8.1%, 461. Look at it. Almost 500,000 votes. North Carolina, big victory.
This is making my brain hurt.
He's declaring victories in states he hasn't
So
won.
we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden,
Almost
it
nothing.
stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
You heard it. Authoritarianism.
So our goal
People
is
voted
to
for that.
ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list.
He's saying the quiet part loud!
It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and we, as far as I'm concerned, we already have won. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all of our support. I want to thank all of the people that worked with us, and Mr. Vice President. Say a few words, please.
Nobody has 270 yet, but yet you won. You won.
Nobody has 270, but he wants to stop the votes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join you in thanking more than 60 million Americans who have already cast their vote for 4 more years for President Donald Trump in the White House. And while the votes continue to be counted, we're going to remain vigilant, as the President said. The right to vote has been at the center of our democracy since the founding of this nation, and we're going to protect the integrity of the vote. But I really believe with all of my heart, with the extraordinary margins, Mr. President, that you've inspired in the states that you just described, and the way that you launched this movement across the country to make America great again, I truly do believe, as you do, that we are on the road to victory, and we will make America great again. Thank you, Mr. President.
These motherfuckers gotta be delusional.
They are.
Like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
Fox News has it 238 to 213. And he's claiming victory.
President Trump, as we anticipated, falsely and prematurely declaring victory, saying that he won. He did not win. He has not won. The president falsely depicting the counting as votes as a fraud and an embarrassment. That is not what is going on. What is going on is the normal democratic process. Almost everything President Trump said in his declaration of victory was not true. It is true that he is ahead in the polls right now in Georgia and North Carolina. Whether or not Biden will ever catch up is a matter for Georgia and North Carolina and their election officials to decide. It is not true that he is winning Pennsylvania or winning Michigan or winning Wisconsin. They are still counting votes. They have literally millions of vote-by-mail ballots that those 3 states are counting. It may well be that President Trump ends up winning this election. That might be once the ballots are counted. But what President Trump just said was undemocratic and false and premature. It is not accurate to say that he won. We do not know who won this election. And I have to say, Dana, it's not a surprise, but still, years into this presidency, I find it shockingly disappointing that he still would continue to erode faith that the American people have in institutions. What is going on right now is a clean and fair election, and there is no evidence to the contrary.
I know we expected him to say something like that, but hearing the President of the United States in the middle of an election, where they're counting votes all over the country, to say what he said from the White House is just not something that I don't think any of us really expected to see and hear in our lifetime. That is not what democratically elected presidents or candidates for the presidency say. That's what authoritarians say. And when he said that that people are going to be disenfranchised, the only person right now at this stage of the game who is trying to disenfranchise voters is Donald Trump, because he is saying the voters whose votes have not yet been counted in the states that he doesn't want them to be counted in.
Logic, come here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should really underline what he's saying.
Come here.
He kept saying, I want the voting to stop. That's not what he's saying. He's really saying he doesn't want the votes that have already been cast to be counted. There is no justification for it. It's shocking.
No.
It's really beyond the pale. I mean,
Sit down.
A fraud to count ballots? in the United States of America.
It's undemocratic.
Sit down.
It's completely ridiculous. But I mean, notice that Vice President Mike Pence came up just a few minutes afterward and tried to paper over what the president had just said, which is that he does not want the votes that are still outstanding in states that he had not won to be counted. And you can't
They better call Arizona now.
From the mouth of the president of the United States from the White House.
You know, Vice President Pence tried to say something that is a more traditional idea of we are grateful for the people who have voted for us. We want to be vigilant to make sure that the ballots are all counted, and we're confident that we're going to be victorious in the end. As if President Trump had not said what he just said, which was a premature and false declaration of victory. And once again, let me say, it may well be that President Trump ends up being reelected. And if he is, it will be because of the fair and assiduous and diligent counting of ballots in states like Arizona and Nevada, where he wants the counting to continue because Biden is ahead, and states where he does not want the counting, not the voting. The voting's done, but the counting to continue, where he is ahead because they have not brought in and counted all the millions of vote by mail ballots. By the way, that were cast vote by mail because we're in the middle of a pandemic that the administration has not been able to get a control over. But let me bring in Jim Acosta. And Jim, we all were hoping that the president would not go there and lie and falsely and prematurely declare victory. So again, as always, it's not a surprise, but it is shocking.
Absolutely, and Jake, I think our founding fathers are probably rolling in their graves right now. They did not envision a president of the United States delegitimizing an American election, and that is what the president just did. It's historic, and it's historically awful. I think one of the things that we're going to have to wait and see over the next several days is, and they've been previewing this over at the White House and inside the Trump campaign, they're going to be deploying, if they have not already deployed, an army of lawyers to all of these states where they want to contest the results of the election. To try to cast aside votes that are still being counted. They want to question the legitimacy of these timelines for counting ballots in states where ballots are coming in after election day.
Yep.
The president, it does not compute with the
I hope you guys know that what we just witnessed was fascism. That was literal fascism.
That is one of the traditions.
That was authoritarian. That was wrong.
Sort of run their own
that
affairs when it comes to counting votes, and the president does not get that.
But with that, I think I'm gonna wrap it up.
President Mike Pence is that what he's saying a few
I
months
still have to
ago,
wake up somewhat on time to fill out
and contradict the president almost immediately and say that the votes continue to be counted.
To fill out attendance stuff. So, I appreciate all of you guys for sticking through this. We've been streaming since like 4. You guys are insane. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This is absolutely absurd what we're experiencing right now. We're gonna wake up in the morning. I'll probably go live in the morning, maybe, and see where we stand on the election, or make a TikTok about it or something. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's beg that when we wake up tomorrow, America still exists. And let's beg that Trump actually doesn't have a credible case to go to the Supreme Court, because that's exactly why he put Amy Coney Barrett there. But yeah, say you guys know what you're mod unless I don't make you mod. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you guys. Have an awesome day, night, wherever you are, and peace. Jesus. Trump's gonna lose, I don't care.